Sing it with me.
Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Just keep it hot.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lamar Smooth NeonFunk Sweet Spot Podcast. It's your boy Lamar Smooth. My brother J-Bird Iiams. My sis Shellbird Iiams. Hey, we'd like to thank you guys for coming out. We got a good show coming up. Got a lot of topics we're gonna talk about. Hope that you have fun with us, and hey, we're gonna do the damn thing. We're gonna talk about some good things, some bad things, and some ugly things. But we're gonna do it like this. Hey!
Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot. Welcome to the sweet spot. Where the sweet he said, just keep it hot. Just keep it hot.
Alright. Man, I had to take that out of my mouth. Plus, I can't see him mess around and have a seizure. A little seizures. Can somebody hit the lights for me, please? Cuzzo, could you hit the lights in the kitchen for me, please? In the kitchen? Yeah. Go over the stove. You know, it's the ghetto, what's that? The ghetto nightlight. How y'all doing out there? J-Bird, introduce yourself. Let the people know what's up.
Alright, well, I mean, she left, but how am I going to introduce myself? Well, aside from dashing good looks, amazing amounts of talent, just generic, all-around great person. Also, you know, very in touch with my sensitive side. So, you know, for all of you out there that are looking for someone to take long walks on the beach with, you know, you just shout out to all of you.
Hey, bachelor ladies. All right, where'd my sister go?
Here I am.
Here I am, here I am. How are you? How do you do? What's that damn,
It's Siamese.
No, it ain't.
You were doing I am Siamese.
No, I'm not.
We are Siamese, if
You please.
and then they don't like playing that song anymore.
Why? Because they said it's racially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the best song of the movie.
Yeah.
Hey man, I mean, Splash Mountain's getting reworked
Yeah.
because Song of the South, which I'm surprised that
Shouldn't it? Yeah.
With that
I'm surprised they didn't do it
zippity-doo-dah.
earlier, but they're probably like, well, we don't even know what we're gonna do with it.
Right, but I'm glad it's Princess and the Frog though.
Yeah, I think it's good. I like Princess and the Frog.
I just thought about it though. Why the black princess had to be a frog though?
Well,
Why that had to happen? Why it couldn't be like a lion or something?
Well,
I mean,
the
to
tail
be fair-
probably was
I know.
already an African tail anyway.
You know what? It probably could.
To be fair, the whole movie's kind of a fever dream.
Yeah, it is.
I think the weird thing is that they're still able to talk to like the crocodile after they turn back to humans. I don't think that's.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is true.
They are able to just talk to them, so I think the whole thing is just one big trip.
Hey, I'm telling you, the hardest thing about that movie was Dr. Fusilier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like
It's
it.
funny
I
because
got
no
friends on the other side.
Which hey, there's a lot of people do got friends on the
Hey,
other
I got
side.
some friends on the other side. I'm telling you.
Well,
on
I
the other
got
side of,
friends on the other side, on the good side.
On the east side, you know, I got some
Oh,
friends on the
Lord.
east side, you know. They already thugged out with it, you know.
Oh Lord.
Hey, shout out to all my east side people, you know. We thugged out with it, you know. Star Mob, gang, you know.
Oh, Lord.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
Riddler
yes.
clique, y'all know what to do. You know, I'm about to light up this trees real brief, you know, so we get our blow on. So, a conversation that we were having earlier about health. It was actually a pretty interesting conversation that my siblings were having about just genetics and just how to, you know, how to stay healthy. Jay brought up something interesting where he was saying that there's no genetic, there's nothing that links people to being big bone. He'd be like, I'm born big bones because my mama was fat and it's because and I mean, like he said, really what it is just your eating habits, your lifestyle. You know, but bro, elaborate a little bit more on what you meant.
So, just for anyone out there that if you're hearing this, genetics plays a part in basically everything that you do, but for a majority of these cases, especially when it comes to like how much you weigh, even things on your metabolism and stuff, that is more so affected by your decisions that you make. So usually one thing that I had a conversation with someone about not too long ago was like, oh man, people are just, you know, they're big boned or like they have more weight on them because, you know, that's just the way the genetics are. And it's like, okay, there are black people that are obese in the United States. There are Samoan people that are big in the United States. There are Asian people that are big in the United States, Hispanic people, all these people, like, they all are big here. Now, here's the thing, though. If you go back to any of those countries, if you go back to, like, let's say you go to, I don't know, you go to Sudan, or you go to, like, Nicaragua, or you go anywhere, right? All these countries that these people hail from, like their ancestors do, you'll notice a very interesting thing. People there are not as obese or overweight proportionally to people in the United States.
Wait, say that again. For the people in the back.
People in these countries that these people hail from, their ancestors came from, or they came to the United States from, are not proportionally as big on average as people in the United States. You want to know why? It's because of lifestyle and the culture that we have here. Obesity is not an epidemic. It is of actual like
Pandemic.
it's not a disease that just spreads. We
Right,
call
right.
it would be like things that have been coined terms like the crack epidemic and opioid thing that's supposed to be going on right now. Like those things are not just spreading; those are lifestyle decisions from a culture that's either encouraging or enabling these things to happen. It's not a call out to like, hey, you know, maybe you need help figuring out how you're gonna work around this to make yourself be able to be healthier, but this is strictly a Western world / United States issue, more so here than anywhere else.
Right.
So it's more important that you take control of your lifestyle and understand that you don't need more excuses. In the United States, we like to give people plenty of excuses, scapegoats to blame things on. Your own health is probably the worst thing to blame things
somebody else on.
Yeah, you can't be like, well, I just have clogged arteries because, you know, I was just born this way.
right.
You were not born with clogged arteries.
Right.
Maybe you are prone to getting them more so, but you probably never even looked it up yourself. You're just saying it.
Right.
You have more control over that. You need to take control over that. And that ties in with, like, everything. But in general, don't let other people give you an excuse to not be healthy. At least try. Don't sit there and be like, I just can't do it, so I just don't.
Right.
That's not really a thing. You definitely can at least live a healthier lifestyle.
Right. Well, that's like when I went to Samoa, like you said with the Samoan culture. When I tell people I went to Samoa, they'll be like, oh, and they're big over there, huh? No, they're not. They actually live a healthy life in Samoa because they live off of the land. So they're getting fresh fruit that have no GMOs. They're eating fresh fish right from the ocean with no pollution. They grow. I mean, I'm not saying grow, but they I'm lost for the word. When you have your own like pigs and cows.
They basically cultivate their own.
I mean,
It's a word for
livestock.
it,
It's what am I thinking? Pasturing. Not
it's
agriculture.
not grow, but
I mean, it's technically called animal husbandry. You're doing.
not breeding. Dang it.
I mean, you're.
Oh, I can't think of the word.
You're raising your own
Yeah.
animals.
Raising your own livestock.
Yeah, they have their own livestock basically, so they're getting fresh, meat that they actually, butcher themselves if you're a meat eater.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're getting it fresh without any chemicals. So they are smaller. The Samoans in Samoa are smaller than the Samoans here in America. And it's because of the lifestyle. They also are more outdoors. They have to do yard work. Here, you get to sit on your butt and watch TV.
Yeah. Also, just to throw out there before anyone gets mad, because that's just how we live. No one's saying that people that are Samoan here are not. They're like not Samoan or anything.
Right.
It's just the country's infrastructure here affects people that are Samoan
Right.
like this. It's
Right.
not necessarily, oh, it's your fault for being fat or anything, or you're living less. It's just
Right.
that's just the way it is from things that are here.
Right.
Of course, if I'm choices and stuff, if I'm gonna get like $9 and get a meal from McDonald's, and it's
Compared
harder for
to-
me, it's harder for me to like go get fresh fish, or like I need to actually do it. Actually, there's a theory thing. It's called like they call it like the 30-second rule or something. Like for
What?
humans, we're creatures of habit.
Oh, yeah.
So like if something is perceived to just be harder to do or take more time,
You're
we're less
gonna
likely to do it.
Yeah, you're
So-
gonna do the easier thing than the harder.
Yeah. So if it's cheaper on top of faster, you're more likely to go do that.
Right.
So that's usually what it comes to, but also like expenses goes into it. But yeah, no one. If you are Samoan,
I
is
love
not.
Samoa when I went. So I suggest
I
everybody
love
go
black
to
people.
Western
I
Samoa.
love black people. I'm not saying it.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think America doesn't talk about Samoa that much.
No.
Like, they don't say, oh, go to Samoa, it's beautiful for vacation. We talk about, like, Fiji or the Bahamas or Jamaica, or Hawaii, but nobody talks about going to Samoa, and it's beautiful. And that's actually where Stevenson Ranch, you know who Stevenson is, that created Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Oh, okay.
Louis Stevenson. He actually wrote that book in Samoa. And he did Treasure Island while he was in Samoa. It's actually based off of Samoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when I went, I got to see his ranch and all of that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. If you any of you out there that are around probably like my age or even not beyond that age, but people like talking about my age.
You are. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm 24. A lot of people around my age like the movie Treasure Planet. If you at all like reading books and like you do kind of like things that are more historical, more kind of realistic. It's not Treasure Planet, but check out reading Treasure Island. I read it. I liked it. Then again, I'm a big like history nerd, so I'm entertained by kind of these older things. But
Right. So someone just hit us with a question saying, so is there any healthy fast food?
so okay, here's what I would say. Technically, when we're talking, there's two different kinds of fast food that I have in my mind. There's general fast food that you can think of that most people think of, like McDonald's, Jack in the Box. Those are more so like geared towards drive-through, but things like Chipotle, those are technically classified as fast food.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Chipotle for sure is fast food.
But here's the thing. So depending on what you need, I would recommend this first and foremost. Go talk to a nutritionist if you can, because we're a podcast. General knowledge and stuff is very good.
Right.
Everyone should seek to further themselves and learn more stuff.
Right.
But a nutritionist will definitely know more about this stuff than us. But here's what I would say: when you are looking to do a specific thing, you need to look up exactly what these things that you're eating do for your body. Now, regardless of chemicals and stuff, if you are eating a bunch of rice and you're trying to lose weight, you're probably not going to lose weight. Rice is a grain. It's not exactly there for you to lose weight.
Well, let me tell you, depending on your blood type, too. So I gotta get you on that too.
I guess, but like rice is not recommended in your diet if you're trying to like lose weight. Like you want to eat is more like, of course, vegetables, lean meat, protein, and stuff.
Well, some people, if they eat lean meat, actually will stay heavier.
Well,
Some people, that's why I say blood type. So it's a book. I'm recommending this book. It's called Eat Right for Your Blood Type. But I've noticed with myself, ever since I started reading this book for my blood type, I stopped eating certain things and I don't have inflammation anymore like I used to, or like sinus issues anymore like I used to.
yeah.
So with what you're saying, also find out what your blood type is. That's very important because it also helps with your eating habits as well.
Yeah. So in the end, can we be healthy? Of course, but
Fast
if you
food,
want,
fast food.
if you want something specifically, like you need to gear yourself towards that. Like you can go to McDonald's and you can have like they do have salads and stuff there. You could go to In-N-Out, you could get protein style burgers.
Right.
The thing is, dairy. You kind of want to avoid that if you don't want to get bloated,
Right.
if you don't want to have intestinal
Right.
problems, you don't want to get a little bit fattier. Dairy tends to be fat. That's why humans started drinking dairy and stuff. When we didn't have mass production of food, people would drink dairy to get a lot of fat, so that way they
during
could.
this winter
Yeah,
time, right?
exactly. So like it was just an easy way to get fat, which was energy. So if you're going to In-N-Out, you can get a protein style burger. It's like meat. It's lettuce, like wrapped in lettuce. You can get onion, all that stuff on it. That's fine. But once you start adding more things onto it, like bread, the cheese, and the spread, that's going to affect you more. Now, granted, if you go to McDonald's, I mean, you could try to have something healthy. They don't really do protein style, at least from what I know from our McDonald's. Also, our ones in America suck, apparently. My friends that have lived
What,
in Japan
McDonald's?
and like
Oh, yeah.
Europe, they get nice stuff at these fast food places. But here, ours suck in comparison.
Well, you know
You can
what's
get a
funny?
bento box in Japanese McDonald's. You know that? And
Uh-huh.
KFCs and stuff.
You
They
know
give you
what?
bento boxes.
So wait, it's funny you say that because when I went to Samoa, it was a McDonald's, and I was like, I don't want to eat there, but I should have just to see what kind of food they had. I should have. So the next time I go, I'm gonna go to the McDonald's just to see how
So
they're.
yeah, and also they have different countries and different parts of the world. They have different laws and stuff on what you can and can't cook your food in.
Uh-huh.
And also,
Oh, that's
McDonald's
true.
started doing this thing which they didn't really do for us, which sucks, where they have local access food. So like
In
that's
the
why
McDonald's?
in Japan, the reason why you get a bento box in like fast food places is because they have access to it. And like in Europe, there's different kinds of like burgers and stuff you can get. Like you get like Dijon mustard, like high grade level beef in like a sandwich and stuff like that in certain places, like in France. And it's like they just have it.
Right.
In America, ours sucks. In Mexico, they use cane sugar in their Coke. We don't use cane sugar in our
we
Coke.
use high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, it's like
We
you can
use-
get.
But you know what was crazy? So we don't use cane sugar in ours, but I'm pretty sure you're aware that we used to use cocaine in it.
Yeah, no, Coke use cocaine
That
in
don't,
it.
but that don't sweeten.
But no, I understand.
I don't
But
know.
what I'm
Maybe
saying
it
is, like,
does sweeten it. Have you?
Hey, look, you never, hey, I know you. Look, you ain't never known. Shit, it might make it sweet, baby. You might get something sweet. All right, so that was our health segment. Basically, what it was is that, I mean, what we've come to a conclusion is that
I'm gonna go
fast
bathroom really
food.
quick.
All right, we've come to a conclusion that fast food isn't the best food just because it's available. I mean, it'll fill you up. Only fast food I could think of that might be healthy, a little bit, maybe Subway, maybe,
They
but
food, they breads is processed.
yeah, and then it depends on what you get on there. I mean, but it's a lot healthier than McDonald's. I mean, just to be honest with you, but you can't beat cooking at home.
That part.
I mean, you really can't. Now, so what we're gonna segue into. I mean, we have a lot we could talk about. We have a lot to get to. I mean, just a lot of different topics of what's going on in the world right now. Can somebody please give me the score to the Dodger game? Please, I want. please, can somebody tell me? Can somebody send us a comment? Let us know. Right now, we should be watching. I mean, I would know if they won once a bunch of fireworks start going off. Because trust me, that shit's like fucking 4th of July in this motherfucker whenever we win even a game.
Right.
Like, seriously. Actually, we can segue into sports right now. You know what? That's a good way
Yeah.
to segue in there.
Yeah.
So, what we can do, we can talk about. This is one of those mellow beats.
So basically, he wants to. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
segue
talk
into
about
sports right now.
sports.
We're talking about baseball.
Yes, we're gonna talk about everything.
Don't talk to me about baseball. I can play baseball and I like playing baseball. I do not like watching baseball.
Hey, that's
So if the
crazy.
Dodgers win, that's hype.
Yeah, look,
But
hey,
I am not invested at all.
Hey, you know what's crazy is one of my coworkers the other day, I asked him what was the score, and he told me, he was like, but you knew that already. I'm like, brother, I'm like, honestly, I don't follow, I'm gonna keep it 100, I don't follow baseball. And then right now, there's no fans. I mean, to keep it real and 100 with you, you know, it's hard to sit and watch sports without the fans being there, you know, because it's like, it brings a certain level of energy. And I could just think back to that one moment when, where the fans just make all the difference in the world, was when Robert Horry hit that shot against the Sacramento Kings back in the day. And just the fact that I'll always remember not only Robert Horry, but there was this kid who was like the floor sweeper. I bullshit you not. As soon as Robert Horry hit that shot, you see a motherfucker in a big ass t-shirt that looked like a dress, like, oh shit, yeah, with some braids, with a fucking headband on, like basically like captured what that era was, what the style and everything was. I kind of want to know what that dude's story is, if he's still alive, hopefully. Hey, we should try to find that out. Like, what's that dude like? What was it like to be in that moment? Like, you was the first one to run up to Robert Horry. Like, he got there before the fucking teammates and everybody else did.
Oh, when you was allowed to run on the court, you mean?
Well, yeah, I think you gotta think the brawl in the palace was the reason why people stopped being able to, like that. They really put a clamp down on a lot of stuff when it comes down to
Sometimes
sports.
I just like to go and watch Brawl in the Palace on YouTube every once in a while.
That's the funniest shit ever, because it's like just Ron Artest sitting there just laying down, all of a sudden.
I
big
know,
ass
and then the cup go whoop.
wow. And you know what's funny? Is people say it was a guy, but if you look at that video, it was actually this black chick. And
No, it was the guy.
No,
because
look,
he
I'm
does
telling
this
you.
afterwards, and he turns to the side like he
Anybody
enjoy it.
go that way.
No.
Go that way. Go who? What? Oh my God. Well, you let her. Being a parent, man.
All right. Well, I mean,
man.
so what? The Dodgers win tonight. I mean, at least from what I was seeing from some of my friends on Twitter, some of them are getting annoyed with what was going on. I don't know exactly where we're at right now, but yeah, I guess that's about it. I mean, most of the stuff that I could talk about, I guess, might be along lines of basketball. Wait, did I tell you about my legendary call out or read for basketball? So before Davis was on the team, I was sitting
Good
there
luck,
like,
Mike.
all right, we have LeBron, we have then we were getting, I guess we would get Rondo and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there like, you know what we need on our team? We need like someone like Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we need something like Anthony Davis. So like, you can talk to some of my friends and stuff, and I was just like, we really. I was like, well, somehow if we get him, that'd be great. I was like, but even someone just like him. And
Yeah.
I had no idea we were gonna actually pick up Anthony Davis. And like, as you can see, like, clearly it was a good choice.
And you know what's the craziest thing? Just by default and automatically, he's the best power forward in Lakers history. Think about it. We've never. So there's one position we've never had an all-time great at. Shelly, why are you ducking? You on a podcast? You can walk across. Go ahead. My sister, you know, she's not on crack, but very crack-ish sometimes. I tell her that. Shout out to Jamie Foxx. With Anthony Davis, it's crazy because we've never had a star. Like, think about all the power forwards we've had. The only other star power forward we've ever had, and he wasn't even a power forward. He was like a shooting guard, small forward that can play power forward even to the center, was Elgin Baylor. Like, James Worthy was a small forward. Kareem center. Magic Johnson point guard.
I was a point guard, even though he was like the height of
Like
point guard.
that dude is like he has to be in the top 5 greatest players of all time. Like dude, in one NBA Finals played all 5 positions and fucking won as a rookie. Like the only person to ever win Finals MVP as a rookie, 5-time NBA champion. You know, like his career was derailed unfortunately. Due to the HIV situation. But just looking at his overall game, the way he got down, like shit is really, bar none that he's hands down one of the greatest players ever. But if we look at Anthony Davis, it's like the smartest thing for him to do is like, look, bro. I mean, me personally, I look at it like this: the smartest thing if he wants more money is stay here. You feel me? But
Yeah.
if I look at it like this: if he leaves and goes to Chicago or goes home, I can't be mad at that. Shit, he won us a championship. I mean, it's kind of like, not to be like that, but y'all understand it's like a one night stand.
Oh, Dodgers 2-1.
Yeah, it's Dodgers up 2-1. Shout out to our tech. Hey, shout out to our boy MJ Farmer. Go check out the TWZ Productions. Got all your needs that you need, all your gaming, technical needs, all your nerds out there, even all you cool guys, your cyber cats. Go check my boy out. Man. Back on Anthony Davis being the greatest power forward in Laker history so far. So, pretty much, if you look at it, we've never had a star power forward of that magnitude. We've had good power forwards, but we've always had a great center to where we just needed a power forward, like, motherfucker just get rebounds. Fuck that. This is the first time we haven't actually had a great center. I guess we could say Powell. You know what? I'll throw Pau Gasol in there, but already Anthony Davis is better than Pau Gasol.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the thing too about Gasol that's weird though is like, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Like, I mean, I have no doubt that Anthony Davis is just better as an overall ball player than Gasol. But before I say potential, I don't know. We can do like a Star Wars reference. Anakin was supposed to be the strongest person, but he never actually got there. So I just give Davis a little bit more if he stays with us. I think he can prove it. But
Yeah.
Gasol so far just has he was out longer with us. So just give Davis time if he stays, and I'm certain that he'll pass him. So what would a Laker All-Star team look like? So like Shaq, we have Bynum, and then we have like of course Kobe. Do we even want to give Jerry West?
With an all-time Laker team?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Johnson would be Magic Johnson. I guess would be point guard, but like, could we just stick him on like I don't know, small forward and then just put Jerry West there just to have someone even older than him? But I mean, we have Kareem also. Like, what are we supposed to even do with that?
So this would be an all-time Laker team by position.
Don't forget Will Chamberlain.
I'm glad you said that. All right, so this, personally, as far as looking at greatest players of all time, who if I was to have a starting 5 and who I would run with, honestly, hello, mother. Why just didn't say tell mom hi? Well, because it's not all of our mother, but I mean, hi, mother. Hi, mom.
Hello.
Well, we got to watch what we're saying on here. The police on here. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Does anybody know the rest of that song?
Know the entire song? No one knows the entire song.
Shelly, could you please close the door? Hey, why y'all in there screaming, man? Y'all supposed to be watching little kids movies and playing the toys. Oh, see, they watching stuff that got them amped. They're getting turned up off of watching kids movies.
Lakers all-time all-star team.
This will be my Laker all-time 5. So I'm gonna talk in my Stephen A. Smith voice. Alright, so the Stephen A. Smith top 5 Lakers of all time. I'm gonna give it to you right about now. Cause your boy. Alright, so I would say Shaq.
LeBron is on the team, so
of course we're gonna put LeBron James on there. Everybody know LeBron James, and I may not put LeBron James as an all-time great Laker. I'm just saying because he won one chip. It was one chip, but I might get you. Okay, so here's my top 5 right about now. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, so this ain't Stephen A. So Stephen A. may say Shaquille O'Neal, but me myself, I'm gonna go with the great Wilt the Stilt. Now, nobody was greater than Wilt. If you're talking about starting an all-time team, I'm talking about Wilt the Stilt. That's just what I'm going with. All right. You can make the argument for Kareem and Shaquille O'Neal. You can make those arguments, but I'm going with Will still for right about now. I'm telling you. Number 2 for power forward. And he's a bad man. I'm telling you, right about now. For power forward, I'm going with my boy. He just got on the team just last year, but he won a championship. He's a 5-time All-Star. And he's on the way. I'm telling you, he's a bad man. Like Aaron Rodgers in the NFL, this boy's a bad man. Ice cold. Hit a 3-pointer in the playoffs and said, Kobe, who does that? And won the game as a power forward. I'm telling you, the boy used to be 6'3" in high school, and then one summer grew to 6'9". You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Brown AD. That's coming in at my power forward. You can say what you want. You can get mad, but that's fine. I'm going to say no. All right, now.
Oh, Mike over here.
My small forward. You know who I'm going with. You're King James. You know, well, actually, we're going with all-time Laker team. And I want to go with Big Game James Worthy, but I'm going with another James. LeBron James. That's who I'm going with. And you already know.
You sound like you on Coming to America, LeBron James.
I'm going with LeBron James. That's who I'm going with. You can say whatever you want to. I'm from Hollis, Queens. I'm from the streets, okay? Now, you already know who I'm going with for point or for shooting guard. There's no question. You already know who that is. R.I.P. to him. I'm going with the Black Mamba. And shooting and point guard, we ain't even got to say it. You ask me, now I would say Jerry West, but Jerry West has to go on the bench.
Jamal, you need to go on.
Leave me alone about my Stephen A. rank. I'm doing my Stephen A's list. Top 5, okay?
Oh, my goodness.
Magic Johnson. That's my all-time team. Now y'all can say what y'all want to say, but that's who I'm going with. And
The
my
only
Stephen A.
difference
Smith.
with mine is I would just put Shaq just because Shaq, baby. When he's getting dunked,
Yeah.
it's Shaq.
All right,
I mean,
wait.
like the thing is, what about this? What if we took five all-time Lakers, right, for that, and then we put the other 5 on another team? Imagine like what that would be like. So let's say we took your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although I still think it'd probably just be a stomp. And then how will we make like another
Top 5 Lakers team?
Like, well, we'd have to put like what, Shaq? But like we have Kareem and Shaq, and I'm like, can I just put Kareem at like power forward? Can I just do that?
Because this is the thing, though. It's hard because Kareem was taller than Shaq. He was 7'2". So that's the hardest thing, and it's like, to me personally, and it's hard for me to put Wilt over Kareem, but I'm thinking of, all-time all-star team far as if I'm thinking of winning just one game, because Wilt Chamberlain just was the most athletic big man ever.
Oh, Jesse. Hey, Jesse.
What up? Actually, he can hop on. He can get online with us.
Well,
He was sent the link.
was it?
Yeah.
You sent it at Funkalicious, Mike?
Yeah.
Because I need to hop on that.
All right, so this would be my second one. All right. So this is how I would do it if I can do it. Be honest with you. So my starting center would be Wilt Chamberlain. Power forward would be Kareem. Small forward, I gotta go with LeBron. Shooting guard, of course, Kobe, and then Magic.
Yeah.
Like
Here's my thing. Is there any chance of like the bench for those 5 starters having any chance against the actual 5 that you started with? So we have like Wilt, we have Davis and stuff. So like, let's say, I don't know.
All right, so the bench, let's say
it's like Kareem and Shaq down below.
All right, so we're going by position again, or we're going by?
Let's say like, okay, if Kareem and Shaq were on the team, like kind of like how Bynum and Gasol were,
Yeah.
they would probably put them down just power forward and like center, right? When they're both out.
Yeah.
So like whichever one you want to put center, whichever one you want to put power forward, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would just say Kareem power forward more so because I'm more confident in his ability to shoot and do sky hooks than Shaq.
Yeah.
So like Shaq, it's like, oh, Shaq, get in there, you could be in the center. But it's like Jerry West for point guard, and it's like, I guess, but my problem is like homeboy was so long ago that it's like when you put Jerry West, of course you can never ever actually know, but if you put Jerry West against like literally any of the people out there, like if LeBron, Kobe, or Magic are up there on Jerry West, they're guarding him or they're coming up on him. My problem is I'm just like, what is he gonna do?
Well, you know what it is though. So this is what Jerry West actually would fit well in today's era, and the reason why, because Jerry West was able to dribble. He was able to handle the ball really well. and he also could shoot. He was a phenomenal shooter. Think about it, like nowadays, you know, I'm gonna say, well, you know, everybody's soft as cotton nail tissue. Nowadays, you sneeze on somebody and they call a foul. No, I'm just I'm just playing. But so, you know, Jerry West would have been able to maneuver. Now, this is the thing, though. He would have been a liability on defense.
Yeah,
Because the guys nowadays are a lot faster, a lot stronger. But this is the thing, you know, we both played. I mean, we didn't play in the NBA or nothing like that. You know, but we played organized ball. You know as well as I know. Sometimes, you know, if you have a little bit of athleticism and you're just willing to hustle and you have a good game plan, you can sometimes win a game. You know, you can sometimes knock somebody out. Like, you know, you can be a more talented team and end up losing. Like, prime example, the Miami Heat beat teams that were supposedly have been way more talented. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Celtics. You know, just because they had a great system. You know, everybody's willing to play defense. Everybody's willing to hustle. And that's the number one thing. If you could get everybody to buy into one system, then it's a lot easier to be able to win games, you know? That's what I learned coaching, even though it's at a small level. Hey, how y'all doing? What's happening? We have our guests. Hey, everybody. Hey, how y'all doing today? They came through.
All right. Well, okay. So for this next one, we have James. I'm gonna put James Worthy on this. You know, this is the. It's funny because this is the bench for like yours, right? We have like Shaq and Kareem, and we got Jerry West, and then we got like what, James Worthy, most likely, right? James Worthy at like what, small forward, and then who for shooting guard? Because it's like when you think shooting guard, you always think Kobe. For the Lakers, right?
All right. So the next in line, as far as shooting guard, I would have to probably go with Silk. The man that I was named after, Jamal Wilkes.
Okay.
Either Jamal Wilkes or Gail Goodrich. Or we could go Elgin Baylor, but Elgin Baylor would probably be small. I would use him as small forward. But yeah, I would say Jamal Wilkes.
All right. I mean, honestly, when you look at Lakers' history and legacy with all these characters, but I mean, I guess all these players, it's like, to be honest, especially like when we look at like what's going on like outside of the key, right? Like small forward, shooting guard, point guard.
Hi, Auntie.
It's kind of obvious who you will normally always choose for like the best of all time, but like once you get underneath the rim, it becomes really like a. Yeah. And honestly, it just becomes like really, really hard because it's like you got four dominant people under the rim or under the hoop that could theoretically on like a given team play power forward and center or like at any given time. I think that's interesting for me because it's like that goes to show like I guess the Lakers more so throughout history have been more focused on like I don't know, maybe like under the rim dominance or in the key dominance. Because, like, I don't know, if you look at other teams, right, even, like let's look at, like, maybe the Celtics, right? They've been known more so for, like, surprisingly, like, their three-point shooters, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you have Allen, you have, like, Larry Bird setting precedent, stuff like that. Like, I think that's very interesting that, like, our rival on the East Coast, over time, our legacy has been more so, like, we have powerful big men that help control stuff. And they've more so been the ones with like we have like the like up and coming point guard or like shooting guard and we could shoot and we could do all these things. I think that's interesting to look at.
You want to know what's the difference between us and the Celtics? We actually did it the right way as far as getting the players. See, what a lot of people don't know, and it's a rumor, and you know, the rumor is that what's his name? Red Auerbach used to sorry man, somebody was smoking a cancer stick. I had to close my door real quick. The lady man Leon Phelps don't like that. I only want to drink my Cavassier. Alright, so the thing about what people were saying back in the day, I don't know if it was Red Auerbach or whoever the owner of the Celtics was back during the 60s. They were saying that they were like paying off the refs and shit, like they were rigging the games. That's why like they won fucking a million, like 10 or 8 championships or some shit in a row.
Wow.
Like they were fucking paying off refs to, like,
Oh, yeah.
or they was
They
like
was
paying.
paying off the refs.
Yeah, or then too, the scorekeepers and stuff like that. Well, the timekeepers where they'll like start the clock later or something like that.
But you know what's funny about that? A lot of people be like, "Oh, that's not true." But when you go and play these sports on a lower level, you really start to see how they can do it in the professional.
Yeah, because if they're doing that
when-
park and rec shit.
Right, when they do it park and rec and semi-pro, and you see it live in front of you, you be like, I can see how they can do it in professional, you know, sports.
And that's the whole thing, and that's crazy because we used to run a semi-pro team back in the day, the Santa Clarita Skyhawks. What's up to my boy Mike McIntyre? Hey, he was one of our co-owners. He held the team down for a long time. Shout out to Mike McIntyre. Hey, real love though. That's family right there. He held the team down, the Santa Clarita Skyhawks. You know, he held Santa Clarita, football down for a minute. So, that's a real one right there.
We almost reached a decade. Did we reach a decade?
I mean, well, you know what? I look at it
think
like
we
this.
did.
The Tiger Ambush, I consider them an extension. It's all family.
Yeah.
So we just started a foundation and it grew from there. And this is the thing, and I look at it, and actually, we can go into spirituality. Our next subject would be spirituality, and this is where I'm going with this. Is just the 6 degrees of separation, where it's like, yeah, maybe we have started something, or been a part of something, and we may have stepped away from it, but we help lay a positive foundation. And the thing is if somebody else was able to take it and grow with it and take it and move forward, beyond what we were able to do, then that's wonderful. Because I look at it like this, it just, I guess it looks at it like good people attract good people. Gerald and those guys and Marvin and everybody, those guys are good people, and it's just one of those things
they
where
learn from the best.
Well, so on spirituality, I think I know where this topic's gonna head at this point. What it sounded like. Mormons. Is it a cult or is it not? I am on the side of.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm on the cop-out side of all religion is a cult, aka the Church of Latter-day Saints isn't really a cult. Now, my sister Shelly here, I'm going to assume from what we talked about a little bit earlier, is more on the side of they're a cult. So we're just that's where we're at on that.
Well, I don't know if they're a cult or not. I just have been around a lot of Mormons growing up in Santa Clarita Valley. Our principal was Mormon. He actually looked like the vice president.
Oh, nice president. Like Mike Pence?
Yeah.
No, that dude looked
Yes, he
like
did.
George Bush back. Well, now,
No, he looked
at the time we
like,
thought he looked like George Bush because
But-
Mike Pence wasn't out yet.
right.
Yeah, Mike Pence wasn't out. He wasn't.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I have friends that follow me now. They're Mormon, so we've learned. I've learned a lot about the Mormon, faith. There's some good and there's some bad, just like every religion. There's some good and some bad. I just thought it was interesting that if you have a wedding. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a wedding inside the church, you can't take pictures in the church. I found that to be interesting. Like, that was very interesting. And there's some other stuff that's, just kind of interesting. Like, some of the culture doesn't want their children or whatever to be influenced by other cultures. Almost like, you gotta stick to what they say, and you can't be influenced. You can't even hang around them because you're gonna be influenced. We actually witnessed that with one of the guys that would hang out around us, and his parents found out he was hanging out with the black people, the cultured people, and told him he couldn't hang around us no more. So that, you know, it's just
Yeah.
certain things that, you know.
I think it's good to, or it's important for certain things like any religion or any kind of like background at all. Like one of my things that I think is funny that you'll see now on dating apps is like, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, don't talk to me.
What?
Like legitimately, they're like,
Right.
if they find out you're a Republican, they're like, I'm just no. Like I
Right.
just don't even want to give you a time of day to talk or date or
Right.
anything at all. Just not.
Right.
And I'm like, you can have the way you look at things, but it's like if you really look that way, I'm like, it's prejudice, right? It's prejudice against whatever
Right.
reason, like especially when it's of course physical things like the color of your skin.
Things
That's
you
even
can't
dumber.
change.
Yeah, but like ideology wise, like just looking at certain things, you can change people's minds on
Right,
that
right.
stuff, or like be able to talk about it.
Right.
But like if you really just hate someone because you just don't like the way they look, then
Right,
I don't know
right.
what to tell you. But
right,
like.
right.
For the spirituality thing, it's interesting. My friend, that's a best friend of mine for being Mormon. That's where I heard all this stuff from. I've gone to like talent shows that they've had at like their church,
Right.
and it's mainly actually Hispanic, the
Oh,
church.
that's interesting.
So my friend is his family comes from Peru.
I'm glad you said that. So basically, if some of you don't know what, you know, Mormons do, but Mormons go on missions. And they go on missions and they basically spread the word. And this is how you get all of these other cultures. Because, like, not to cut you off, but when I went to Samoa, there was a lot of Samoans there that come here through the Mormon faith.
Mhm.
Because of the missionaries that go over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a very big like network. Right?
Right.
If you are part of the Church of Latter-day Saints, they don't call themselves Mormons, by
Right,
the way.
right,
We
they
call them
don't.
Mormons.
They don't.
They do not like being called Mormons. They will not tell you this but they're like, our
Right.
name is, they'll politely correct you like, we actually just are believers in the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
Stuff like that. It's very interesting to say the least. Like, they're very, like, overtly polite. They honestly, it's surprising, they aren't really pushy. Like, when I went to their church and stuff, the town show or whatever, his church, one, is primarily Spanish speaking.
Right.
Which is interesting, but yeah, no one ever
that
talked to
is
me.
Interesting.
No one talked to me at all about like faith or anything while I was there,
Right.
even though I was in the church.
They don't care just as long as you're there.
Yeah, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
with my friend Addison. Of course, I believe he might be a little less uptight and stuff. He's younger. He's pretty accepting of like people or whatever.
Mhm.
Good guy. His family also is fine with us being over, but they, of course, they don't do certain things like curse and stuff like that.
Right,
Like we
right.
talked earlier, they don't really.
Well,
They
shoot.
they promote like
And
not.
some black church people go to church, they don't curse.
Yeah, but like I mean, like in general, like at their house and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's what
like,
I'm
there's-
talking about.
Yeah.
Look, Grandma did not like cursing. Y'all remember that? When we was younger, you could not.
Oh,
even now, though, Grandma be like, "Come excuse you." Yeah.
But going back to what you said about like, oh man, they found out they hang out with the cultured people or like black people and stuff.
Right.
I think that is supposed to be separate from it, or that is separate because like people that are heavily like evangelic, nucleus family, strong, God fearing, loving Christians, what people in America, like white people like that.
Right.
They can use whatever excuse they want. And then they're just kind of like, oh, well, you shouldn't be hanging out with them. You know, they're a bad influence on them. It's like, oh, the whole, like, Eminem thing is like, oh, don't hang out with them because, like,
Right.
oh, they're black or something, right?
Right.
And it's like, well, it's not because they're black. It's just that their values are just, you know, different from ours. And we're good Christians. And it's like, nah, rap isn't the Antichrist music or
Right.
anything. Like, that's not... You're just using your own prejudice and be
Right.
like, I don't want my kid around this. And it's like...
Right. Instead of just telling the truth, I don't want you around
Yeah.
it because I don't like it, or
I
they
don't
lied
like- I
to
don't
you
like-
with the faith. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like with the Church of Latter-day Saints people, Mormons, whatever you want to call them. They're very weird and quirky because you can even tell. Like I've interacted with certain missionaries. Like so, my house or my grandma's house actually was put on like the address list for them to visit as like they have kind of people that if you give them your address as like someone, the new missionaries that come in will come visit the house because it'll be marked down as like, oh, these people are a safe house to visit and talk to.
Oh, they do that now.
So they've
'Cause
done
back
stuff.
in the day, they just went to everybody.
No, they
house
go
like
to
Jehovah's
everyone.
Witness.
They do not go to everyone's house,
Right.
but if your address is on there, they have it, and then they'll send like missionary stuff, and they'll come and talk and whatever. And I've talked to some of the new ones, and it's interesting because like they're all like 18, so this is their first time they're leaving. Some of them do come from like kind of sheltered houses and stuff because they're just like keeping to themselves or whatever. So you will encounter a lot of people that are very weird, like quirky, and like they haven't experienced a whole lot, especially when they're on their mission trips, because they're sending out.
Oh.
It's a rite of passage for them.
Yeah, 'cause
so they're
some of
sending
them
out
are
they're
harsh.
sending out their kids. They're sending out their
Right.
like, I've turned 18. I am
You
going
are
to a different
going
part of
to
the country.
Brazil into the jungle.
Yeah, like they're out there. They don't know what they're doing either. So
Right.
like
The coolest
honestly,
part is seeing them walk through the hood. That and you know what's funny, and I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I'm
no, it's
sorry.
fine.
But it's funny that you mentioned that because it's like they do send them in like fucked up
Poor areas.
places,
That's
yeah.
what they do.
But you know what though? In the Bible, it does talk about Jesus didn't go
To
to the rich areas. He went to the areas
He
that
went to the
you know.
poor.
So part of them doing their mission, and and one thing I can say about a lot of them, regardless of whether we agree with what they do or how they do the shit, I can say a lot of them are kind-hearted. A lot of those kids are kind-hearted, that,
Yeah,
and
the kids are, yeah.
and contrary to popular belief amongst those who are ignorant and don't know that African Americans aren't, generally violent people. For the most part, and I'm pretty sure any Mormon kid could tell you that for the most part, blacks don't bother them when they ride through the hood. And the reason why,
Because we know what they are.
well, yeah, and then not only that, you gotta think your grandma teach you about, your family teach you about God and spirituality. And you look at their people of God. So you look at it's like also too, they don't carry any money or any, electronics or anything on them. One thing they carry on them is a bike and a Bible. Now, if you go rob a fucking Mormon for a bike and a Bible,
Something is mentally not okay.
Nah, you just deserve to just get stoned in the streets, like on some real shit.
My friend, he went to Mexico for his mission trip because he speaks fluent Spanish. He picked up some habits and like some Mexican influence dialect and stuff while he was there, which is funny. He told us about it. One of the other missionaries that was there, one of them had a watch that like their dad gave them or something to wear around. They're like, oh, it's good to probably keep that stuff back at home, but they felt fine walking around like these parts of Mexico.
Wait,
and
what race was he?
He said, man.
The one that got robbed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was white. I think I asked Addison. And so he's like, yeah. So some people walked up, and he's like, they even advised us when we went. He's like, you're walking around Mexico. They're like, some places are rough. They're like, don't bring a lot of valuables on you. If you can, you probably shouldn't bring them when you're walking around. They're like, but if you do encounter someone, they're like, just give them everything. Don't even put up any kind of resistance. Just give them everything. So that's what they're told. And so he's just like, yeah. Apparently they walked up to them. They're like, hey, give us all you got. And they didn't even say anything. They didn't see a gun or knife or anything. They're just kind of like, well, I mean, chances are you might have it. You're not going to just walk up to someone and be like, I'm not going to do anything to you. And I know you're Mormon, so I know you're not going to do anything.
Right.
So they're like, all right, and then they had to give it away. And so he's just like, yeah, those kinds of things have happened.
And those
Yeah, they
people
do
will
happen.
have karma.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, though. It's kind of one of those fucked up things where there's those situations where it's like no good deed goes unpunished. It's kind of like you were pre-warned. Like,
Yeah,
don't take that with
yeah.
you. And then it's kind of like that missionary guy that decided to go to Sentinel Island and got shot the fuck up by the Sentinelese because it's like, I'm not trying to be fucked up, but I mean,
Some
RIP to that guy,
cultures don't
but...
want outsiders to come and invade their
But
space.
it's not only that. It's just like, on some real shit. That's just like, man, you went to the wrong hood. Motherfuckers told you. The fact that he went above and beyond just to get there, to try to give them a story about Jesus. These people do not give no fucks about no Jesus. They don't give a fuck about who you are. They don't give a fuck about what you got to say. Because the whole thing is this. They view anybody that's light or an outsider, or actually not even just anybody that they see that's white, they're going to attack them because back in the 1800s, there's some perverted white motherfucker. I can't just say it's perverted white motherfucker, but I mean, I forgot his name, but some perverted asshole went down there and fucking kidnapped two of the fucking Sentinelese. They kidnapped the elder and one of the younger people. The elder died when they kidnapped him, and then they brought the young one back, and he got everybody else sick. And then the fucking assholes there like raping the women and that kind of shit. So it's kind of one of those like things where they looked at it. We tried it before. From this point out, is nigga, everybody get to smoke.
It's on site.
Yeah, it's on site. Like fuck it.
But yeah, I mean, it's a segue into the spirituality thing though, really quick. My friend, when he's walking around, and I've talked to a good amount of people because like I studied anthropology in college. I like mythology, history, and all these things, and a lot of them tie together. I could have a segment at some point about Zoroastrianism if you want to, because that's the real foundation for Judaism.
Hold on. Wait, Mike, could you put that up on the screen, please? What's that again, Jay?
Zoroastrianism.
That's a spelling bee word, you guys.
Zoroastrianism. Very interesting. You should look it up. If you think that Yahweh was the first monotheistic god, and there was like the only time that you heard of the devil or it's something like the devil, then you're sadly mistaken. But going back to spirituality, having talked to my friend, he's like,
oh, we must have won. Did we
said
win?
that the Dodgers probably won around now. Hey.
Did we win?
Hey, usually that's usually a signal. The Mexicans let you know.
Oh, one way out, one out away from winning. Thank you, Mike.
But how long ago was that though?
I know.
That he sent that, because they shooting off the fireworks right about now.
Right.
It's gonna be a party, y'all. Wait, hold on. Wait, y'all finna get mad at this. I don't give a damn. All y'all who against the man, fuck it. You say whatever you want to.
Oh, I go on Twitter.
But you know, we about to play the song. Yes.
We must have won because I hear
Yes.
fireworks.
no,
We
I
said
need
it
to check.
though. If you hear fireworks, the Dodgers won.
My friend Angel said Rays threw the World Series away.
So we won.
Yeah.
Hey. No, we need to put on a coalition song. Which one we got? Rolling?
Are we gonna have to pause this because they gonna shut us off?
Yeah, they are. Oh yeah, it's going up. Congratulations, Dodgers!
Hey, we not gone yet, but we gonna keep it hot like this. You feel me?
Yeah. Aside from Dodgers, congratulations on LA for bringing back home the NBA Finals and World Series. But yeah, so isn't it funny though? World Series, and it's a national league. It's called the World Series, and it's a national league. That's one of the funny things.
that bag over there.
That's what I'm thinking. We don't play no overseas. But maybe they say that because we have people from
Shout out to the Dodgers. Only fun we're thinking of rolling.
Pulling it Oh, here they go.
With all those fireworks going off and stuff.
I know.
Really quick, I guess, to end that last spirituality segment with, I talked to my friend and asked him about it on the mission trip. He believes that, like, and this is the thing I like to talk to plenty of people out, whatever kind of God or whatever thing you believe in, the way that it is presented to you and how you interpret it is the thing that matters spiritually for most people. So, like, for him, on his mission trip, he felt like he did meet and speak to God through people and the things he experienced. So, in the end, like, spirituality really comes down to individual, like, how God or whatever you decide to call whatever this being is speaks to you, and in the end it comes down to like how you want to like show the world or whatever way you want to represent it. So for him, he also agrees, and a lot of people agree, like it's each of their experiences is their own and individual. It's just within their group of religion that they choose to practice, I guess. But I guess that's about it for me on the Church of Latter-day Saint boys and girls.
That's real talk, though. You know, damn, man. Hey, they going up. That's crazy. Wasn't just yesterday Grandma's birthday? Or the day before yesterday, huh?
25th, her and Samantha got the same birthday.
Interesting story about the Dodgers. Our very first baseball game we went to, Shelly and our mother Rosa and her mother, our grandma Cleo, took us to our first Dodger game. My mom was in the academy at the time. This is before she sang at any Dodger game, and my mom wasn't able to take us, so my grandma took us, and that's one of my earliest memories. It's crazy because the Dodgers haven't won a World Series in 32 years. I'm 32. I guess, hey, LA gonna turn up. Want to say RP, happy belated birthday to my grandmother. Dodgers did this one for her.
Miss you.
Miss you, love you. So we're still on the subject of spirituality. Just think about it. If you guys hear all those fireworks and everything, those are fireworks of joy. We done been through so much this year, you know. Los Angeles been through a lot, you know. Think about last year we lost Nipsey. This year we lost Kobe. It hit me especially hard because I don't know, for some reason I felt like Kobe was like the big brother I never had. And I think partially because, you know, I looked at it, he was a teenager and I was like, damn, I was a kid, you know, looking at another kid that was barely 10 years older than me going to the NBA at the time. And I guess I became a huge fan of Kobe's after watching him. This was after his first year going into his second year during the summer. And Shelly and I's favorite player was Penny Hardaway at the time. Like, couldn't nobody tell us nothing about Penny.
I wanted his shoes, loved him, everything.
Like,
I wanted to fight Tyra Banks for even dating him.
And it's hilarious because, we went to the Midsummer Night Magic game when Magic Johnson used to have the All-Star games during the summer, and Kobe dominated Penny in that game like a fucking rookie, 18-year-old rookie after his rookie season going into his second year. And, you know, I wasn't really watching basketball too much yet like that. Again, like, I was off and on in the 90s. Like, I was watching more like high school basketball. Like, most basketball I was watching was me being with my god brother. Shout out to Dwayne Davis, LA great, you know, legendary basketball player back in the 90s.
Played with some of the greats.
Yeah, like, you know, he played with Paul Pierce in the summer. You know, that's how I spent my summers at my godparents' house, watching basketball. So it was like when we saw Kobe, and then I guess Kobe reminded me of our god brother Zach. And we used to always laugh and say Zach looked like Kobe, and it's funny because he ended up playing his doppelganger in the video games. So the Kobe video game character, yeah, even in commercials, stunt double. So shout out to Zach Frey. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Frey. Okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna say because I was gonna say Fry. I don't know why, but I know it's Zach Frey.
People
Oh,
that don't know
Frey
him
family.
say Fry.
I know, huh?
Or Zachary, and it's Zach Frey.
But this all ties into everybody share these spiritual moments. You feel me? These are fireworks of joy, and everybody's so happy. Like we about to turn the fuck up out here, man. I'm serious. Excuse my language for everybody. It really lets us know that there is a higher power. You can see that everybody can come together and really be in tune, on one accord, even if it's a sports team. You feel me? We all stuck inside, even though everybody couldn't go to the game or be able to experience it live and in person, but we were able to see it at home.
No, some people got to experience if you was in Texas.
They wanted. Wait, they was in
It
Tampa.
was in Texas.
Oh, they playing the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, but they've been in Dallas.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because I know that they were here in L.A.
I don't know. Somebody told me they were switching around.
I mean, they
Like
probably could have.
stadiums, but I don't know. But I think this last one, they was in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
mean,
they
that
had
makes sense.
fans there. Because
Hey.
what was that a night? Oh, look. I was going to say the lantern turned blue. You need to put it on blue.
Oh, no, hold on. Let me put the light behind me on blue. Bam, bam. There we go, right? Dodger blue. Back into the spirituality thing. Look, I mean, we could be on this subject for a long time. I mean, we all have our own testimonies. We all going through our trials and tribulations. And I mean, no matter what you believe or who you believe in, just know that there's a higher power. There's a higher power. I mean, there's nobody that can convince me to tell me otherwise that there's no God. You may want to call him what you want to call him. I mean, that's fine. But I just look at it like, think about it. You have that conscious,
Inside of you.
yeah, that conscious mind state of, let's say, when you're gonna do something, right?
Well, it's called your
And-
inner Adam.
Yeah, I mean, well, whatever you want to call it, your inner atom, your conscious, or whatever, your inner self. I mean, it all ties into one thing where, sometimes you'll have something tell you not to do a certain thing. Oh, that's some gunshots right there. Hey, man, this ain't New Year's Eve, player. Y'all out there shooting, player. We over here trying to talk about some real stuff. Y'all out here shooting off guns and stuff. Welcome to LA, y'all. Where you have your days where you feel like giving up, and there's something that tells you not to do such. Now, if you go against it, I mean, that's on you. That's where the free will comes in at. But when people are like, oh, well, if there was no God, why would certain things happen? I mean, think about it like this, though. You wouldn't know what good was if there wasn't no bad. If certain things didn't happen, you wouldn't know how to react. You wouldn't know where to go from there, So I just say the best thing for people is to try to live your life in a positive manner. Try to influence others in a positive way. Even if you can be an example, a beacon of hope for somebody else, because we all go through stuff. We can sit up here, laugh, and smile all day, and we're all going through things. You feel me? Don't want to be too sentimental, but we're gonna jump onto something next. Now, anybody else have anything you want to add to it?
No, the only thing I would say, which would spark a whole nother thing, is I would Neil deGrasse Tyson this and be like, I would just throw out the whole, it makes sense though for me that God or whatever all-powerful being you believe in is either all good or all-powerful, but so far it's not been shown to be both. And I think that the whole idea of free will is, I don't believe that God or the higher being is all good. Testimony, Jericho and stuff. Yeah, maybe they were unredeemable, whatever. Souls get damned to hell, stuff like that. Killing humans, the floods, whatever, if you believe that those all happened. But in the end, the whole purpose of choice is this. If God or whatever created us and wanted us to be all good and at all times, it would not give us free choice. I believe that it makes sense that you want to create something, and if you love it, let it go, kind of something. You gotta let it be its own thing. So maybe God's watching above and is sad at each individual's failure, but in the end wants to see everybody overcome their struggles and stuff on their own, because in the end that's what builds character, right? So in order for you to become the best that you can be, you have to experience the good and the bad. Regardless of whether or not you believe that it's God or something else, in the end I believe more so like Native American spiritual culture, everybody's born with one wolf inside them, or two wolves inside them, one good, one bad, and whichever one you feed more is the one that dominates your life. And it's like, you can blame whoever for whatever reason, but in the end, you have power over whatever you're doing. You are given the free will, and free will is power. Freedom is power. You have the power to do whatever you want to do with the way that you're living your life, and that's just it.
That's real talk. That's real talk. Shelly? I mean,
Okay, what'd you
you
say?
got anything to add to the talk about spirituality?
When it comes to spirituality, my experience with it has come from like being young and having dreams about certain situations. Being young and having dreams about certain situations and see them manifest in front of me. So me at an early age, I understood spirituality. I also got to see death young. Thanks to my mother for taking me to who was that? Robert Townsend? Not Robert Townsend. Robert Harris.
Robert Harris, yeah.
His viewing. That was the first time I ever seen a dead body. I think I was 6 years old. I'm like, what the heck? I had dreams about him the rest of the night, and just from that point on, like, spirituality and life and death has been very interesting to me growing up, and just viewing people as they're here on earth, and then when you see them go, you see the impact that person makes on society or in their family, and you understand the spiritual aspect of when they say you leave the body, but your spirit stays here on earth, which means every person that person has touched has left some part of their spirit within the people that they have been encountered with. Even if it's somebody you know met on the street and you might have just told them hi. One of the examples I had of that, I remember one time me and my ex-husband was with the kids at Magic Mountain. I think we were at Hurricane Harbor, and we had free tickets to go to Hurricane Harbor, and we had extra tickets. And I remember seeing this lady with her husband and her kids in line, and I gave her like 2 extra tickets. And like years later, like this lady came up to me and was like, "Hi, do you remember me?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "You gave me free tickets to get into Magic Mountain." And I was like, "Oh my God," you know, I didn't even remember her, but she remembered that, you know. And so it's just like stuff like that with spirituality and inner self. Some people do have battles within themselves. I mean, I have battles within myself as far as what decisions to make, but that's what makes us human, is the choices. We actually have a choice, you know, and listening to your inner self and knowing that inner Adam, and when it's talking to you and it feels right, you know that's the right decision, you need to make it. You shouldn't second guess yourself.
Someone commented that God is a woman.
Josh said that.
Josh, you would be the one to say that.
No, you said that.
You would say that, Josh.
See,
because look.
My cop out on that is like a being that's like supposed to be God and to be like have all these powers, and this higher level being, right?
Right.
There's no concept of like
flesh.
No, not flesh or gender or anything like that. It literally is beyond.
Right, it's beyond our
It's beyond
knowledge.
the capacity of doing that. So
It's
God is neither a woman or a man
Exactly.
or a thing. It is
Look,
just.
And now listen to this. This is our baby brother.
Yeah.
And we were not raised in the same house, and he feels the same way. Look, is that DNA?
Yeah, well,
Is
I
that
know what
genetic?
though.
Right, because Grandpa, to be honest, because our grandfather Fred, when Grandpa passed, I inherited his car.
Uncle Kai.
I inherited his car, and in the trunk of his car, he had all these spiritual books, like about religion, about just philosophy, whatever it was about spirituality, he had in his trunk. And I remember when Grandpa was still able, I think it was after your baseball game, one of your baseball games, when we all went to eat, Grandpa asked me for a Quran. And back then I used to wonder, like, why does Grandpa want a Quran?
You know what?
He's
It
not
was
Muslim.
actually after his baseball. So remember that picture we took?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
That was
Yeah.
actually the last time we all spent with Grandpa.
And so he asked me for a Quran, and I thought to myself, like, Grandpa's not Muslim.
That's a hell of a good ass segue, Mike.
Why does he want?
Hey, I love that. Look, Shelly, I love
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But I'm like, why does Grandpa want, a Quran? But when he passed and I got his car and saw in the trunk, he had all these books about spirituality. He was really trying to understand spirituality before his transition. You know what I mean?
And that's why, like, from what I've learned from studying history and stuff and culture and whatever, is like, it's so much easier to respect everybody's view on something as just in a different interpretation of the same thing.
Right.
Because when you realize and look at it all from all these different angles that you yourself may not be able to see without the lens of someone else's writing or something, it helps you become more whole. I don't know, this is kind of an out there.
No,
this is
you're
kind
right. That ain't out there. It's
No,
a lot
well,
of people on this level that are starting to be. And I think because of this.
That was probably G-ass.
What the hell?
Those were shots, Shelly.
I know. Almost made me go to
Oh,
the
okay.
Hillcrest days where we wanted to hit the
Hillcrest,
floor.
look, I ain't even flinched. I'm looking like,
When we used to hit the floor, you remember that, Keith?
oh, okay,
I think
okay.
it was New Year's Eve.
We do this every Tuesday.
Year.
Say
Every
hi to
year,
Uncle
and they
Kai.
would
Oh,
always
she
do
said hi.
this, and we
Yeah,
always
we do this every
flying
Tuesday.
on the floor
You
like
come
this.
through.
You remember that, Keith?
Yeah, it was gunshots because the Dodgers just won the damn World Series, so they shooting off fireworks and gunshots in the goddamn air. But
Uncle Scott said,
I'm pretty
gunshot.
sure it's one of my boys that's the damn security at the damn weed shop over there.
Oh, man. Scott
Yeah,
said
they-
gunshot. Look, you sure you ain't hearing none in Long Beach? Shoot.
Nah, he heard it. No, because he heard what we were talking about. All right, hey, that's crazy that we so we segued into that's what's up. Look, Uncle Scott said, okay, cool, bet. Hey, okay, Uncle Scott, okay.
My thing is, like, bullets are kind of expensive, so why are you gonna shoot them in the air and just celebrating?
All right, so little bro, we're gonna transition into this is part of our ancestry that we gotta talk about. All right, so this is, it's certain things that we do just as people, because you have
Say culture.
yeah, you have Hispanic, you have Mexican blood in you too, black and Mexican,
Which we actually take our.
so this is how our people is in the hood. We turn up.
Yeah.
This is our self. I'm pretty sure. Prime example. It's kind of like you go down south and they got a hold down whatever.
I mean, they all shoot, like Republican, like people that have a bunch of guns, they'll shoot in the air. Like, cops do it too.
Hey, I got to end, Uncle Kai.
I can't tell you exactly who, but I know people that are cops that shoot guns in the air, and that's illegal as hell. And they're just like,
Jay,
oh.
funny.
They're just like, oh yeah, man, Dodgers. I'm a sheriff. It's just like, all right, cool. Do it.
Like, oh my God. Like, who shot those shots?
Now, who did that?
All right, so we like to talk a little bit about our ancestry. As you can see, we're peanut butter colored Negroes. I guess if that's what you want to call us, or just we're
First,
American.
I've never heard that one.
You never heard of peanut butter colored?
I guess that's about right.
Yeah,
Peanut
I
butter
mean,
Peanut butter,
color.
caramel. I don't know, like
I'm too
cedar wood.
like cedar wood. Palo Santo. Palo Santo.
or apple cider color. Maybe. All right, so a little bit about our ancestry and our background as far as what we know. We're mutts. We're mixed with everything that could possibly be here in America, damn near. I mean, our father's father was Mexican
What?
and
Our
black.
father's father?
Yes, Grandpa Fred, his mother was Mexican and black.
Our father's father? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you went too many
No.
fathers back.
I know how to spoke. I spoke correct English.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna talk about my granddaddy.
Your granddaddy.
Yeah. All right. Our grandfather, his mother was Mexican and black. His father was black and Native American. You say?
Yeah. Well, her father?
No, Grandpa. I said his father.
His father.
All right, you don't want me to start going into the whole like Hispanic versus Native American thing.
Yeah, I mean, no, they're the same thing.
Yeah, but
no, they're not in a way.
I mean, all right, so that's
Spanish.
why I said Mexican.
You don't want me to-
Mexicans are Native
Well, she
American.
was.
I
Well,
like-
no, not all Mexicans are Native American. Some Mexicans are just Spanish, and then some Mexicans are Spanish, black, and Native.
Yeah.
Some are white
yeah,
and.
I like getting into
Native.
this subject with certain people because some people don't understand. When I'm just like, you don't know why you're darker as a Hispanic person, it's because you're more Native or something. That's
But
like,
then-
you don't know why you're white, it's because you're more Spanish.
Well, also
Well,
too.
because also there was African too. A lot of them
Yeah.
have African in them.
But there are definitely more Native Americans in the Hispanic areas because they lived there first.
Well, so this is what I learned. It was crazy because sometimes I'll randomly would just go to the African American History Museum in Midtown LA.
And that's exposition part.
Yeah, an exposition park. And one thing I learned, it was funny because I went during Hispanic Heritage Month last year, and they were talking about how the first governor or mayor, I believe it was the first governor of California, was
president of
Uh-uh.
Mexico.
no, the first governor was Don Julio was black and Mexican.
Oh.
Yeah, he was but mostly they considered them Native American, but they were they spoke Spanish. Because California was pretty much a safe haven far as during the time of
Blacks,
slavery,
yeah.
for blacks.
Well,
Like,
Texas was too.
yeah, and one thing we learned also too, a very interesting story. If you ever have a chance to go up to Sequoia National Forest, we learned that the Buffalo soldiers actually
Kept it safe.
kept it safe, kept the forest safe. So what?
Because they wanted to burn it down to look for gold.
Yeah, and also too, they paved the roads out there. So what would happen during the Civil War? The
Theodore Roosevelt for
the Union soldiers wouldn't basically give any of they wouldn't give any of the blacks any like good detail. What they would do is kind of send them, like, here you go, man the border at the forest or whatever.
Or dig trenches.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And the Native Americans used to find them as a formidable foe because they would actually go against them in the forest. And they called them the Buffalo Soldiers because they said they were strong like the buffalo, and they were tough. So that's a brief history into that. We got a couple of more things we
you
want to get
did
into.
not finish.
What? About what?
You
The
said
Buffalo Soldiers?
no. So
What did I
Mexican
forget?
American.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do we want to get into that?
So basically,
Okay.
like our heritage with Mexican American is that Grandpa Fred, his mother, which name was Catherine, her mother, which name was why did I forget her name?
Who? Grandma Catherine?
Her mother.
Who?
Is Auntie Cheryl on there watching?
Nah.
No. Basically, Stella. Her name was Stella. Stella. Her name was Stella Mitchell Dawson. So she was married before she got with great granddaddy Edward.
Great granddaddy.
Yeah. So granddaddy Edward was from Texas, which I believe he was most likely like native and black, because Grandpa Fred said when he was a little kid he remember him having like really like gray hair.
I remember when I was
looking
a
like
kid.
a straight Native American Indian,
What did he say he did?
But
No,
and that's how Grandpa Fred's mother was created. Her and Aunt Naomi.
It was just only two of them?
I think from their union.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Also, too, when we learned we get part of our musical background on that side from is
They were in the
they were in a mariachi band.
Yeah.
When
Their mom put them in it.
yeah, well, this was like what in the 30s, maybe the 30s or 20s, maybe even early as the 20s.
Well, Granddaddy Fred was born in the 40s.
Yeah, so this probably was in like the 20s. This probably could have been in the 20s, yeah. Or the 30s, you know, it depends on.
No, but they were little tiny girls too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it had to be like in the 1900s. Like,
Man, that's crazy.
yeah, that is crazy. Think about that.
You
So
know.
look, Jay, you are the history buff. When did the Alamo happen?
The Alamo? So you're talking about the start of the Mexican-American War?
Yeah. When they sent the letter, what year was that?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Alamo stuff, like, is super like a lot of propaganda, whatever.
Yes.
The whole Alamo thing.
Right.
Like,
They lied.
around when it was supposed to have happened,
Right.
I think was like 18, like mid 1860s.
Mm-hmm.
I would double check that for you. Like the Mexican American War, or maybe 1870.
The only reason why I asked is because I believe that's where great grandma Stella's family, why they were here in America, because she was born in Texas.
And you know what though? I
So-
think
No, I'm dumb. Well, hold on.
I think that may have
No,
been.
I was off. It's not like mid 1860s. It was 1836, not 18.
So
Okay.
her grandparents, basically.
Jay, what war took place close to the early part of the century, of the 1900s?
So wait, are you talking about World War One, or are you talking
Oh,
about
that was
Spanish American War?
Yeah.
Okay, so fun fact: there are a
What is
few
that
wars.
smell?
There's a few wars.
Why you just said
I'm
it?
sorry.
There
That's
are
your upper lip.
there are a
Like
few.
nail polish.
There were a few wars that we fought that are not really on record. Like we fought a war against like the Barbary Coast, which was like North Africa, because they would raid shipping all the time, even like in medieval ages. And we sent like our U.S. Navy over, like during the 1800s, to the Barbary Coast, like so North Africa and stuff.
Oh.
And we fought them because we're like, hey, stop raiding our stuff. They're like, we've been doing this for hundreds of years.
Right.
Come fight us, and we did.
Wait, is that why we
The pirates.
created Liberia?
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, that was for
That's
free
from
slaves.
Monroe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Free
but I'm
slaves.
saying was that
The
like around
President
that time?
Monroe
though?
did that. No, that's.
No, the Barbary Barbary War or whatever happened like around Civil War time. Like we were power projecting. That's why our military was built up.
Wait, but that's what I'm. Oh, okay, the Civil
No,
War.
but
Okay. And then
Monroe happened way before then.
yeah, that was after the
Wait,
Right.
Wasn't that
Before
after
the Civil War,
Revolution?
no.
So it happened after.
The Monroe Doctrine was a thing like World War II, like around World War II,
Oh,
which happened
okay.
like
when they were trying to. They really was trying to
It's
eject all
around
the
World
black
War II.
people
Wait, I thought
from here to go to Africa.
Wait, I thought that was way before then, though.
what the Monroe Doctrine.
Yeah, with Liberia and
Well,
stuff like that.
Liberia, we ended up owning Liberia,
Yeah.
but Liberia, the doctrine, Monroe Doctrine, wasn't
Good
until later. So like, we owned land all over the place, and we were going and imperializing stuff. But like,
Yeah.
Liberia didn't become like, hey, slaves, come here.
Right.
So like after the slaves were freed, because then they're
Right.
like, all right, well, what if we just push some of you somewhere else?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it created conflict though with African Americans here with the Africans that were there because they kind of like pushed them out. They pushed them out.
Yeah,
so-
but yeah, some of those things are interesting. So like the start of the 1900s, we had the Spanish American War. That's where Teddy Roosevelt made his name.
yeah.
So people don't really talk about that one that much, but that's when we went over and like beat up the Spanish for the Philippines and we
Right.
imperialized
And that's
it.
right. And Samoa. Because we got Western Samoa.
Yeah, and like that's how we got a few of our islands, and then we beat up people on Cuba, and then Cuba was like, we want to be free, and then all that stuff happened. But then, and like that's Puerto Rico, all that stuff. And then World War One. Honestly, during that time period, there's just a lot of big wars going on, especially with us. You know that our country is like 95% of our country's existence, we've been at war.
Yeah. Even within our, like my time of being like born from the 80s to now, we didn't have Bay of Pigs was doing, Clinton, right?
Bay of Pigs during Clinton? No.
Or was that Kennedy?
That was Kennedy.
Mikey Goodfellow?
Well, no. So we had Kuwait, we had Afghanistan.
The first Gulf War, and then the second Gulf War.
The second one, then Afghanistan, then Reagan had one during his time, didn't he? I can't even remember.
I don't remember any president that hasn't had a war or some kind of fight or conflict.
Well, Trump.
That
No,
hasn't
I
had
mean,
a
we're
war.
still in
Or some
Afghanistan
kind of
and
conflict.
Iraq.
Yeah,
So
but
what-
he didn't do that.
Here's the thing, Vietnam,
Yeah.
technically not a war, because we never declared war officially,
that's
because we didn't
true.
recognize the North Vietnamese government. So, I mean, we could cop out, and technically speaking, we've been at war with North Korea, because we never signed a peace treaty. We only have a ceasefire. So we've
Yeah.
been at war with them this
Oh,
entire
that's
time.
true.
We have a question: is war a necessary evil? And that's crazy because you played a lot of
Warcraft.
Well, not Warcraft, but like Age of Empire type
Yeah.
games, and games where global conquest is
Yeah.
premise of the game. But also too with you being a history buff, what would you say to that? Is war a
So,
necessary evil?
if you look, here's the way that I look at it. Maybe someone out there will hear this, and then maybe I can get put in the upper echelon. I'll be nicer to people about certain things. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if people that are up and above controlling things look at it like a game, because in the end, like when I do these kinds of games, like I'll micromanage like countries and stuff like that. You have to micromanage an economy, and you can kind of just look at all the numbers separately because like it's not affecting me personally. But there's these people that are out there, like, I need to pay for my army, I need to run my economy, I need to make sure inflation's not too high, doing whatever. All those people are being affected. But me, I'm on the outside, I'm controlling it. So I get to sit there and be like, it's not necessarily affecting me personally. They don't know I'm like this person behind the scenes controlling these things. So I look at it as like, all right, how can I get myself more things that I can play with, right? So if you become that kind of person that's up and you don't need to look at damage control on the ground, it's like, you're desensitized, so you can be like, I want these things for Russia. Like Putin with taking like Crimea from Ukraine when they were just like, we're not sending soldiers there, and then they had free elections with Russian soldiers, and they just kind of took it from them. Putin's not looking at it as like, oh, will this benefit my people? He's like, will this benefit Russia? So when you look at it that way, people say war is necessary for me to better my country because I want more stuff for me to be able to do with my country. That's why nationalism's an issue, because it's cool to be a patriot and all, but in America we also do this. Like, if you look at it as like, I'm doing this for my country, the country doesn't care about you. The country is the thing that we give a name to. It is like, if I say I'm doing it for my country, you're not doing it for Timmy, you're not doing it for Jimmy over there, you're doing it for this thing that we just decided is a thing.
Doing it for murder.
Yeah, so war isn't a necessary evil.
Oh, Chris.
No.
Chris Fritz was watching.
No, because war is a state of two giant teams or groups of people saying, hey, we want this and you have it, or we want this and you don't have it and you want to take it from us, so we're going to fight about it. Is it a necessary evil? No. In some circumstances, is violence necessary? If we're looking at a pure animal level, yes, of course. Because animals out there, their instincts are like, if you're with a lion, you turn the other cheek, the lion's going to bite it off. You should defend yourself. If you have to kill it to defend yourself, yes.
Yeah.
Or if someone's deranged or they lost their mind, something you need to defend yourself, yes. But war, like annihilation of the human race through nuclear warheads, is not a necessary evil. because then we'd all be dead. So it's not necessary because we're all dead, unless that's the goal. But like, if you're the kind of person that's up and it's not affecting you personally, and you're like, I just want to gain more stuff for us to play with, you don't care because it's just a means to an end. It's like the big CEOs and stuff. If people are getting cut from the company because I decide I want to do this, that sucks for them. Right. But I'm not there. They're not my family. The further you are away from something, the less it matters.
The less you care, yeah.
So, the less it matters to you. So, war is not a necessary evil. It is just one that people want. We didn't need to go to Kuwait. It was not our business.
Mm-hmm. No. Well, yes, it was.
I mean, you could say as our business. Well, they petitioned
because of the oil.
They put. Well, yeah.
They have investment in the oil over there.
Like
so
said,
if something happens, you're going to be affected.
Yeah, but really, to go to war, like you said, it wasn't really none of our business anymore.
Well, they petitioned the UN and stuff like that, and because we're the U.S., we have big military, we wanted to get involved. Like, we didn't go defend Kuwait out of the kindness of our heart.
Do you remember what was so famous about Kuwait? Actually, I think you were actually a baby though. But do you remember what was a famous thing? And they may not talk about it, but it's actually African American history.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
And that's sad that they don't talk about that. So this is one thing I'll never forget about Kuwait, or it was either Kuwait or Kosovo. It was Kosovo. My bad with Kuwait. But all right. So, do you know about what happened when we went to Kosovo?
No, but okay. So Kosovo, as in you're talking Serbia?
Yeah, we went. We actually had like a brief conflict with Kosovo.
Yeah, because we went and blew up. Like, I have a friend that's Serbian. He talks about it all the time. He's like, we started becoming like a major like economic like power base in the Balkans, and he's like, you guys didn't like that we were doing that. He's like, so you guys kind of came and bombed the fuck out of us.
But do you know what was like, why that was so what was so significant about that?
What?
Actually, why we pulled out. So they captured like 2 or 3 of our soldiers.
Politics is a cult too.
He did say that. He said that earlier.
Oh, I didn't say that.
So this is the thing about Kosovo. And it's like people can say whatever they want to about Jesse Jackson. They can throw dirt on that man's name.
Hey, I got to shake that man's hand.
That's nice.
I'm just saying that he's a part of history.
Well, let me explain what he did. Damn. You're talking about you shook the man's hand. I'll tell you, you ain't never met Martin Luther King. No, because
I met the man who shook Martin Luther King's hand.
Nah, I mean, fucking around guy.
Yeah, but that means if I shake your hand, I shook the hand of a person who shook the hand of
Martin Luther King.
But he got Martin Luther King shot.
And then I'll shake a bunch of people's hands so they can say they shook the hand of a person who shook the hand of a person who shook the hand.
Right.
Justin. Who was this, Justin? I don't know. He can't come in the White House. You got Martin Luther King shot. Hey, shout out to Mike Epps. All right, so this is what was so. I'm gonna answer that question right after this because this will be a segue. This will be a segue into that.
Woo!
So with Jesse, and this actually is crazy. So people talk a lot of shit about Jesse Jackson, and it's funny. They don't talk about how Jesse went over to fucking Kosovo and got 3 of our soldiers out of there. America could not do it. They had 3 POWs. I'll never forget. I was a kid. I was probably Jamal's age, maybe 10. I was probably around his age. And Jesse Jackson went over there. He said, "Let me try to go over there and get him." I bullshit you not. That man went all the way over to that fucking country. They was not letting no white guys go over there. I don't know. Is that a Muslim country? Or?
Serbia, no. They're Eastern European. The Slavs, Slavic people. That's where the word slave comes from.
Yeah.
They're basically the white people's slaves. Like the white people's slaves. Like you can say the Irish, but the Slavs. Mm-hmm. If there's any white minority oppressed group, it's gonna be the
Slavics. And the Armenians think they oppressed.
And it's
crazy.
yeah,
Armenian thing.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I was saying that, because it's like, they bash Jesse Jackson a lot, and the mainstream media, they say, oh, he's radical, him and Al Sharpton. But it's like, my whole thing is that, you know, regardless of what they might say or how some people in the black community might feel about him, I just look at it for him to be, you know, bashed amongst like, you know, conservatives in America for being radical is fucked up, because it's like the man went and got three POWs that no one else can go get. You know, it's sad because people were saying during the early 2000s when they were chopping off reporters' heads over in the Middle East, send Jesse Jackson. And fucking George Bush would not do it. And you know, it's funny because that's where also too where it ties in where blacks with the Democrats.
Well,
you know,
not only that, Dennis Rodman.
Well,
when he went to Korea.
Yeah, but that was something totally different though.
But he have a connection with North Korea.
Yeah, but he didn't go get POWs. But I mean, as
he
far
went
as
and
like
got them people.
Yeah,
It was them.
No, he didn't get nobody.
No.
The backlash was the fact that
UCLA.
the backlash was no. That was in China.
Oh, okay.
Dennis
You
Rodman?
don't even smoke. No, Dennis Rodman went.
My head.
Wait, all right. Let me finish the thing with Jesse Jackson. As far as with the Democrats, so we had Bill Clinton was in office at the time. He allowed Jesse to go do that. When the reporters were kidnapped in the early 2000s, we were saying send Jesse. George Bush refused to do it. And, you know, that's where we had the we refused to negotiate with terrorists and all that kind of shit. Now, going to what Shelly was saying as far as with Dennis Rodman, with him going over to North Korea, that was more of some basketball shit. Kim Jong-un actually was a fucking big Michael Jordan fan. He asked Jordan was like, nigga, fuck you. Asked Scottie Pippen, he was like, fuck you. And he asked Kukoc is from like Yugoslavia or something. Shelly, you don't have to walk over, you can walk in front. It's okay. So they asked him, could he teach their players how to play basketball? So he took several NBA players with him over there, several former NBA players, and he found out that Kim Jong-un actually was a big ass fucking fan of America. It was the fact that, you know, where he grew up at, you know, he has, you know, it's kind of like with, I guess with growing up, if you were a kid of a Black Panther, it's like, you know, fuck the whole white power system or whatever, even though you kind of went to college or some shit, you know. It's like, yeah, I went through the system, but it's like, fuck him. And that's how Kim Jong-un is. It's like, dude, fucking, they said he had like 1,000 pair of Jordans. Dude, no, yeah, like, you know how much of American culture you have to love to be that guy to fucking know who Dennis Rodman is.
He just don't want the rest of his country to love America.
Jay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of how you rule a totalitarianistic country.
Right.
True, but bro, I fucking kid you not. For that dude to know who the fuck Dennis Rodman is in the 90s, Mike could tell you that fucking dude Dennis Rodman was off the fucking chain.
Yeah.
Off the fucking chain. Like,
my favorite. I got to meet him too and shake his hand.
Young Thug and them motherfuckers ain't got shit on Dennis Rodman. I've heard stories about where fucking Dennis Rodman used to keep trannies with him on purpose just to trick dudes. He would not, they was like, Dennis Rodman was like Prince. He would be metrosexual, but he wasn't gay. But he would have gay people around him.
He loved himself and he married himself.
Yeah, but the whole thing was he did that shit for publicity. He was like, shit, he took the Easy E route. It was like, fuck it, all publicity is good publicity, even if it's bad. Kanye learned that shit. Tupac did it.
Nice guy. He really is.
And for real, no, I mean, I've never met him, but I can, you know, tell he a real motherfucker. And what Dennis did, he just went over there, you know, teach him basketball. They tried to get him to be more political. Be like, oh, well, what about the guys, you know, what about the kids and bringing them home? And they tried to get him to do some Jesse Jackson shit. But he's like, I don't know nothing about that. I just went to go play basketball.
Well, who went and got them? Obama?
Nobody. No.
Yeah,
Dude,
They went to jail.
They take American POWs and use them as propaganda tools. They made a whole documentary and movie
No,
about
I'm talking about the UCLA kids.
That was in China, Shelly.
There's a lot of specific things, but I'm pretty sure that one's China, yeah.
Now,
Well, who got them?
nobody.
He was in jail over
That was
there.
LeVar Ball and them. Nobody.
I know, but somebody
So
went and got
Donald Trump tried to take credit, but what it was LeVar Ball and them had them write a long letter See, one thing about Asian culture, about certain Asian countries, to dishonor, what the fucked up thing was, they realized those kids did something worse than commit a crime. They dishonored their family.
Oh yeah.
They
Because
dishonored
that's how
their
it is
family.
in
Yeah.
Samoa. If you dishonor the family, you better go to
Yeah,
the police.
yeah.
Because the family gonna whoop your
No,
ass
but for real,
first
that
to the
was like,
police.
so they looked at it like this, and on some real shit. This is, and LeVar Ball didn't associate himself with Donald Trump, but everybody who's fucked with Donald Trump on some real shit, whether people want to get mad or not, they made some bread. So Big Baller Brand went up to $10 million, went up to a $10 million net worth after they made that trip to China. After Donald Trump went over there and talked to them, but the whole thing was, it was like, we're gonna keep it act like we ain't cool, you know. So what they did was his net worth went up on some real shit. Prime example. Kanye West became a billionaire when? After he went and pulled that shit with Donald Trump. I mean, it's a lot of people making money with that dude. I mean, somebody was talking about there's a lot of money in the hood right now, whether it's stimulus scams or whatever. I mean, there's gonna be a big ass boom from this, and this is where hip hop and shit came from. But to answer the question I was asked, do we think that there will be a civil war too? Honestly, I would just say I hope not. But I mean, the way that shit is going right now, I mean,
you want me to give you an answer on whether or not to be Civil War II? I'll tell you. You ready? No. You want to know why? Because the people controlling everything that you see on both sides are two wings on the same bird.
Yes.
Yep.
They are literally both for the ruling class.
wow.
And it does not matter whether or not you think that gay people are a problem or black people are a problem. They will tell you when you should fight someone and when you shouldn't. And you want to know when the answer is, whether or not you will have a massive war that'll destroy their infrastructure and a bunch of the money that they make.
Get destroyed.
Yeah, they will never tell you to do that.
Yeah.
There will not be, if there's ever a civil war or revolutionary war, depending on who wins, in this country, it will not be red versus blue.
Right, it wouldn't.
It would be
The
people that are pissed off versus the government. There's not been a single civil war outside of ones between kings and whether or not certain princes or sons will end up ruling the kingdom that has gone on, a revolutionary war that's gone on that has not been government versus people. Period. You're not seeing anyone. South Sudan, that wasn't a war whether or not, hey, Democratic Party should rule completely, and then they fought a war over it. No, they literally fought a war to separate from the other country, from Sudan, because they were like, y'all are oppressing us, we're going to revolt, and then they ended up becoming their own country. So will there be a second civil war? Red and blue? No. Will there be a civil war because the underclass people and the people that are pissed off at our government are like, oh, we're going to rise up? You want to know the answer to that question? The answer to that question is also no. You want to know why? Because the mass public is too stupid to organize or do anything. We are being watched on every kind of media.
Yeah.
Area 51 raid. It was a meme. The military, just in case it was actually real,
We're on standby.
the military were also on standby in Area 51, and they were there, ready there to lock it down. You think you organizing your little things on Facebook matters? If it becomes a threat, they know it's there. You're not, anything that you want to do is going to have to be off the grid. And I'll tell you what, us all as Americans, we'd rather be told that other people are bad and that my party is correct and it's the other person's fault, rather than actually try to change anything. So, moral of the story, vote third party.
Ha!
Oh, what? Hey. Hey, now that's a hella controversial,
We were
view.
not raised in the same house.
Hey,
We
look,
think the same.
genetics is a motherfucker. I mean, you look, it does come from our dad, but I guess he just got old or some shit. I don't know.
Well, Dad don't agree.
No, I mean, no, he does agree. He just ain't gonna say nothing. Shout out to our
Well,
father.
I've had conversations with Dad about certain things, and then him and my mom were both like, why aren't you voting for Hillary? And I'm like, you want me to explain why? Election night, my mom's sitting there distraught that Hillary's losing, and she ends up losing. She's like, oh my God. And I sit there, I'm like, you want to know why? There's a thing called the Electoral College.
Right.
And you want to know what happened with my vote? It went to Hillary. You want to know what happened to this guy's vote that's a conservative and he voted for Trump? Guess who that went to? That went to Hillary. You think... I watched the election results.
Right.
out of third-party states that it could have swung into one favor or the other, Trump lost more states
He did.
to third-party voters
He did.
voting than he won. Trump just got more states overall to vote. That's how electoral college works.
Right.
You know the last time that happened, bro? In 2000.
Yep.
We
With
sat
Gore,
there, trust me.
Gore and Bush.
Dad said something to me, and we sat there and watched that election, and I'll never forget. Dad was like,
Which I got
this
to meet
motherfucker bought his way into the election. Think about it. In that election, bought his way into the presidency. Just pay attention to this shit, and this will fuck you up. In 2000, the richer person won.
Yeah.
2016, the richer person won. The reason why Obama won is because he won by so many motherfucking
Wait a
votes.
minute,
It was like
Well,
inevitable.
he was
He
black.
was-
He was just gonna win.
But
Yeah.
he wasn't
There were
the
Republican
richest
black
person.
people that were like,
Who was
I'm
the
just voting
richest
for a
person?
Hillary is richer than.
No, she's not.
What?
Hillary's not richer than Donald Trump. I'm
No,
sorry.
Obama.
We're talking
That's
about in 2016.
The Democrats
Oh.
weren't
No.
concerned about Hillary being richer. They're just like, who will win and
Right.
people will vote for, and then they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Obama because he's black.
Yeah.
You want to know why
Yeah.
Obama won? It's not because of his qualifications or anything. It's not because he's necessarily the greatest
They
leader
wanted
ever.
different.
They-
They wanted change.
Well, what?
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
but
They only wanted.
this the
They
thing, though.
voted
At the
Obama because
time-
he's black, and
But
you
we
want to
didn't
know what
know
that
that.
is?
But this is the thing, though. At the
but it
time,
was
we
a
didn't know.
mindset.
Yeah,
it
'cause-
was a mindset. People wanted change
Yeah.
in a different.
That's why
than
his
what was
his
the
slogan
norm.
was changed.
And this is the
But-
thing too, though.
What I'm saying is, when you look at things in general, though, this is a whole nother thing. Is it? It's not racist. It's anti-racist. We affirmative actioned Obama into the presidential seat.
Yeah.
McCain wasn't even a bad politician or a bad person. He was actually a really good person.
You know
He
what
was
it
a
was
POW. He was a wholesome man. People were trying to bash Obama, go like, he wasn't even born here. He's Muslim and all these things. And then
that
McCain's
shit-
like,
yeah.
he's like, man, he's a respectful man. I just disagree
Yeah.
with him on things. And I'm like, McCain would have been a great
You know
president
why he lost, though? I'm gonna keep it
because
100.
he's not black.
No,
No.
I bullshit you not, bro. I kid you fucking not. I'm gonna tell you why. Because fucking Sarah Palin.
Yes,
That's the reason he
what
lost.
killed him.
And this is why,
That's
because
really
she
what
fucking
killed
did,
him.
her husband was a part of this, like,
Sarah
supposed.
Palin was a Trump, man, female version.
No, even worse. Like, I bullshit you not, way worse. Like, Sarah Palin said some shit that basically, like, disconnected herself completely with the American people. She was like, I like to do this all for all the hockey moms. The fuck?
And we're like,
And she was a Republican from Alaska. It's like, wait, you have basically her thing was she connected with nobody here in America. Also, too, her husband was supposedly about a part of this, was supposedly a part of this radical group that was trying to
Yeah.
separate Alaska from America.
From America.
Also,
yeah.
too,
That was awesome.
one thing that I've learned about fucking redneck white supremacists, they'll rather fucking have a half black dude, half white dude run the
somebody
fucking
going
country
against
with a
America.
white guy than the damn white woman that's from fucking Canada. From
No,
Alaska, that they don't know shit about. They will fucking refuse to have that woman fucking, if John McCain died, have her be the fucking president. This is the whole thing because they looked at it as they're afraid of that shit. The thing is, a lot of people like Donald Trump because they feel like he's that fucking pit bull in the front yard. Like, we had a dog named Tiny.
Oh.
I don't know if you ever remember that pit bull that Grandma had in the
You
front yard.
actually like Tiny,
I think
though.
so.
Yeah, and Tiny, like Ariel, he'll tell you about that fucking dog was a pit bull in the front yard that was willing to bite the fuck out of anything if you weren't blood. That's on everything I love. I don't know
She didn't
what
know
she
you.
smelled, but I kid you not, if you were related to us, if you were one of Grandma's offspring,
She didn't.
even one of the kids, she would not bite. She could smell the blood and the connection. That's why you and Corey could go out there and play with her. This dog was a vicious ass dog. I kid you not. Like, I've seen her bite the shit out of every goddamn thing and everybody. Like, she used to rip rats at bunnies, all kind of shit, ducks, everything. It had cats, other dogs. Like, this was the most ghetto gangsta ass dog of all time. Now, this is the thing. Tiny kept motherfuckers out of the front yard. Tiny was that dog that was gonna bark, that was gonna bite. And they looked at it like this. We looked at it like this. We good. Because you know who's gonna be that front yard bully to keep people out of the yard? We don't give a fuck whether they right, whether we don't agree with her biting. We didn't want her to bite nobody, but it was like, hey, fuck it, she's doing the dirty work. So that's where Donald Trump comes in. It's like, They would rather have Donald Trump be an asshole, be that motherfucker to say, hey, I'll blow your shit up. Opposed to somebody, well, we'll sit and talk with them and see if we can meet with them and try to be on world peace. Because you're sitting down at your dinner table, you're eating your Curzon way, and you're sitting with your family. Someone isn't with you right now. Why? Because of Donald Trump and his organization. In his administration.
What the heck are you talking about?
They did not take apprehension on for this segment. And then you get Donald Trump be like, yeah, but we look at it like we're gonna do. We have the best medical doctors in the world. Also, too, it's China's fault. We'll blow them up. You're like, yeah, you gotta think we're in a fucking Call of Duty era. See, bro,
yeah,
you tripping.
It's a
you tripping, bro. You gotta go that way.
It's a
no, you tripping. I guess that's gonna be all right. We're gonna have the little Jamal tripping segment every episode. No, for real. No, last episode, or like Lil Jamal turned. For those of you that was there, and we run this back. Lil Jamal last episode turned the camera like full 360, and it was shout out to Kobe. You went that way, But fuck. What we were talking about, as far as with Donald Trump being the front yard bully, like he's that. Like I think about back in the day when we used to run the streets, when I used to, hang out with the hustlers and gangsters and strippers.
Oh my God.
Not for real, they're real shit. Shout out to my people from Star Mob and all the people who used to hang out with us in Hollywood back in the day, and used to be in downtown and at the Rosa Parks station in Watts. You had certain people that was just bullies. That was just that you knew you was cool. One of your big cousins was like, you knew you was cool. You had that motherfucker on your side because you got, the biggest dude in the yard. Now he may not be the killer, may not be the meanest, but he's the biggest and he's the strongest. And he's willing to, when it's time to pop off, he's gonna step up and say some shit. That's the thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump basically fights the battles for pussy niggas. Keep it 100. For all the punk bitch made ass motherfuckers that's on some conservative scary shit, that's what he does. Like he's their superhero. I was telling Aisha the other day that Donald Trump is actually, it's fucked up, it's crazy, but he's actually the mirror image of Obama. He's a parallel to Obama, but they're also the same. Like he represents the American dream as well, to where you don't have to be a politician to become a president. And Obama represented the American dream where you look like any motherfucking body and become the president. I kid you not, like there's those you can look like anybody and become president. He was the dream, yeah. Like that's because you gotta think.
Saying that's what Donald
if
Trump
you would just
representing?
No, I did not. You ain't
what
listening.
What are you saying?
You got what I was saying.
Yeah, I heard you.
If you would just shut up and listen, I swear you are a father's
That's why
child.
I'm asking a question. I've been quiet this whole time.
And you've been zoned out.
I have.
You've been on your phone. That's what I'm saying. You was on your phone. So all right, let me go back. So what I was saying was, Donald Trump is the mirror image of Barack Obama. He's the parallel. So.
Oh, who do you think will win?
Trump or Biden?
Oh.
This is a crazy one because honestly, looking at the polls and stuff, I really think Biden might barely win.
That's what they said about Hillary.
I think Trump is gonna win again.
But I guess I kind of have a feeling that Trump will win, kind of like when George Bush won.
Now it'd be a shock if Kanye wins. That's the shocker.
But he's vice president.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's crazy?
He's running for vice president.
He is?
Yeah. He's not running for president. He's running for vice president.
You know what's crazy?
Oh, that's interesting.
This is the craziest
Underneath,
thing.
like, not Trump or Biden, like someone completely else.
He's under the birthday party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he calls his shit, the birthday party. This is the funniest thing. A lot of people don't know that the vice president doesn't have to be the same political party as the president.
The president doesn't even need to be in a political party.
No.
I don't want to get into all that. The president isn't only decided because two parties have primaries. The primaries are not protected by any kind of government structure, infrastructure, protecting your right to vote or anything. First of all, they can make up anything they want. You know how they're like apparently the Democrats burned Bernie twice because Bernie was like more popular than Hillary and Biden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the Democratic Party can sit there, get all your votes, and be like, "Oh, Biden won," and then it's like, but everyone is like, "But we all voted for Bernie." Doesn't matter because your vote doesn't actually matter. There's nothing legally protecting you when you're voting in the primaries.
That your vote's gonna go to
There's
who you
nothing
want.
saying they can literally show up and be like Biden's our representative from the beginning. They just like to make you think. They like the publicity of like we're following the Democratic primaries. None of that matters. The debates that are happening on TV, none of that matters. It's all propaganda. That's it. And who wins, Biden or Trump? I'll tell you what. I have this theory that they alternate every set amount of years, just so that way they can gerrymander and do a bunch of dumb shit in like Congress, so that they don't get anything passed and no one pays attention. So, Obama had majority in House and Senate during one of his terms, and then during the second half he didn't. And you know what all Democrats blame stuff on? They're like, well, when Obama was president, he had the majority of Republicans were in the Senate, so they weren't letting him do anything in the second half. It's like, okay, same thing that they're doing with the Republicans right now, blaming Democrats for stuff.
But you know who else
they're gonna blame Democrats because if Trump gets elected again, another 4 years,
But
Democrats
you know who
are
else
gonna
they blame though?
Who?
Democrats. They blame black people.
Well, everybody blames black people.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Like, I kid you not. Like,
They blame
This
us
would
so
be
we can
what
stay in
our-
a certain mindset.
this would be our fucking fourth election. Well, my fourth election I'm voting for. Yeah, I'm fourth time voting for POTUS. And I kid you fucking not. Like, whenever the Democrats don't win some shit, oh, well, blacks didn't come out and vote. And it's like,
Or young people.
yeah, or young, and it's like, the fucked up thing is, and I can honestly admit this, like, our people don't really become politically aware of anything until probably fucking October, the month before fucking the election. And it's crazy because it's like, you know, we don't really have any political knowledge amongst our community as a whole. You know,
You blame China for COVID.
do we blame China for
No.
COVID?
All right, so
I
really
blame
quick,
dirty motherfuckers for COVID.
really quick. It would make more sense for Biden to win,
Mm-hmm.
but if Trump wins, then I just have a theory, and it'll just take another 2 presidential elections after this one for me to get it proven. And even if it's proven, doesn't matter. Every 8 or 4 years, they rotate Democrat, Republican, Republican,
Yeah,
Democrat.
you're right.
Since what? George Bush Sr. They've done that.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the odds that we would get one president from each party back to back for the same amount of years? For the last 2 decades. What are they got? I think they've gotten it down to the science.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. If Trump doesn't get elected, Biden's only going to be in for 4 years. Then after that, we're going to get a Republican for 8, and then we're going to get a Democrat for 8. And maybe they'll stay on that. If he stays in this term again, we're going to get a Democrat for 2 years.
Until we learn that we don't have to vote for
Yeah,
them.
it doesn't, no matter what, they decide what happens until we realize that you don't need to vote for a Republican or Democrat to
Right.
make a president.
I have a question.
I try to
So-
I try to tell Dad that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Dad, there's other options. Some people really don't know there's other
No, they don't.
options.
No. They
There's
don't.
a lot of people out here that don't know you have more than those 2 options.
And then there's also people guilt tripping. I had a
Yeah.
conversation with someone on my Discord, and I was sitting there like, so you want change? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, so why are you voting for Biden? He's like, well, he's not the candidate that we want, but he's better than the other one. I was like, so how does that change anything?
Right.
You don't have it. You said it yourself that you don't like him, and you don't think he's gonna do much. He's like, well, he won't make it worse. And I'm like,
How do you know that?
I'm sitting there like, you want to know how Trump can do the thing where all the people are like in little internment camps
Right.
right now on the border? Obama signed those into law.
Right.
And he was also doing stuff like that. Except you weren't hearing about it as much. Also Obama was also giving the go-ahead to bomb other sovereign countries.
Yeah.
But you weren't hearing about that because you follow Democratic stuff and they don't talk about it.
Right.
The Republicans would talk about it. That's why they all know and you don't. And that's why you know everything Trump's doing and the Republicans don't. Because they follow that side.
That's why it's good to follow all of it.
Or
so
watch
you can get
other
more.
countries' news.
Yes.
Watch European news.
Yes.
it will
even- yeah,
make
the
you
British-
laugh, even though it'll make you
Yeah.
sad, because they'll sit there and be like, yeah, so the Americans are fucking dumb. And I'll
Yeah.
sit there and be like,
And that's
Yeah.
crazy you said that. 'Cause I have friends in Europe that asked me when Donald Trump got elected. They was like, and it was funny. It was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, man? So you're telling me the fucking guy from Apprentice is your president?" He's like, "Yeah." What the fuck is wrong with you? Who the fuck voted? You voted for that guy? And I was like, "Hell, fucking no, man! Like, I didn't vote for that fucking dude. Like, are you serious?" And they didn't fucking believe me. They thought I was joking with him. They like, "How
But
the
you know
fuck
what?
did y'all
When
let that happen?"
When we went to Samoa, they told us the same thing. So, how do you like Trump being your president? We was like,
I don't know, man, I just lived there.
Right, like, what do you want
Hey,
to
look,
say?
like that movie Ever After. Like, I'm just here for the food.
Okay, do I blame... Okay, going back to COVID. Because of how I believe in epidemiology and from watching and hearing lectures from
Wait.
epidemiologists.
That's another spelling bee word. Say that again.
Epidemiology.
Look that shit up.
So, I'll give you a quick rundown,
The
quick definition,
study
and you
of
guys can look it up.
epidemics.
The study of viral outbreaks and disease outbreaks and spread.
Wait, say that again.
The study of viral and disease outbreaks and spread.
Go look that shit up.
Epidemiology is very important, and a lot of people are
Wait.
acting.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Say that again. That's a word they need to learn.
Epidemiology. Epidemiology. Epidemic-ology. Epidemiology.
The study of epidemics.
So a lot of people, and I want to be the first one out there, I'm not a master, I don't have 10,000 hours of studying this. I am not necessarily an expert, but I have listened to people that are. And what I will tell you with this, and I do it for fun, because I don't know what's wrong with me. Listen.
You're just curious
You need
person.
to understand that just because you are living in the furthest timeline currently that you are living in of human technology does not mean we are miracle workers. Viruses are still not understood well. I mean, we understand them, but you have to understand, we didn't know bacteria existed until like 100 years ago. You know how long humans have been around? Way longer than that. Cancer wasn't invented. No one invented cancer. Cancer has been around before we found out that it was a thing like 80 years ago. Modern medicine is new. Vaccines are new. Everything about modern medicine is brand new. The fact that you can even go get your child, like me, I was a preemie and I was born and had to be in an incubator. Incubators? That's a new thing.
Preemies rule.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I would have died without modern medicine. So if you sit there and want to believe that we have complete control and understand everything about viruses and we can manufacture our own and purposefully spread it at a certain rate, you're high. There are certain things that humans do not. There are certain things that humans do not have control over. You have to understand that when you actually get into a field and look at things, people don't understand how viruses are even alive. They're basically rogue RNA. If you want to learn about, go back to 9th grade biology. I know it might have been a while for people, but 9th grade biology. Viruses are rogue RNA. They're a different kind of life. You want to know why we call computer viruses viruses? It's because they're just random code that goes in and reprograms your computer. Viruses go in and reprogram our computer, aka our cells, to do its bidding, and that's how they kill us.
Yeah.
So they're a completely different kind of beast. Bacteria are living creatures. They're
Yeah.
regular living creatures. That's why we have antibacteria. We can kill them. Viruses are weak. Viruses are a completely different thing. It's a miracle that our bodies are naturally have an ability to fight them. So when you get in and understand, like China, you can kind of try to create a deadly virus. There's a chance it could happen, but it's all speculation. Is it China's fault for COVID? No idea. No idea. But here's the thing. The chances that they created a virus like this is very, very low. What I would say China probably did was downplay it and not take proper precautions for certain things. Yes. Could it have been done better? Yes. But then again, could things have been done better here in America? I don't know. Why don't you ask the rest of the world who can go to like concerts and, you know, go out to dinner and go to movie theaters? Why can't we? Well, because we suck. That's why. So that's that. Epidemiology, is it China's fault? No, the virus probably existed before they found it. they're the first people to diagnose and find the new strain. They didn't invent it. They're the first people to find it. Like cancer, like pneumonia, like any of these diseases. The people that
Like
find
swine
them,
flu?
yeah, like people that find it, they don't invent it. They just find that it's there and that it's different.
So what we're kind of doing to them is some like whoever smelt it dealt it type shit.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. Spanish flu. Fun fact about the Spanish flu. That's actually, you know, the swine flu? Or no, sorry. H1N1, stuff like that.
Yeah,
The Spanish flu was the 1918 H1N1
right.
outbreak. We call it the Spanish flu because World War I was still happening, and we were having people get sick with flu-like symptoms like the Spanish flu. But we're like, both sides, Germany and us, and like the other sides, were like, well, we don't want to make people panic and be like, there's a giant disease outbreak.
So
But there's Spain, and Spain is neutral and not fighting the war, and they're reporting on their cases.
Let's just put
We're
their
gonna be
name
like,
on there.
oh no, the disease is spreading from Spain. It's the Spanish flu.
Says, how does the epidemic affect the election? I think it affects it tremendously because you have to think there's a scare tactic that I believe that has been created with this pandemic by keeping people in the house. Because you gotta think of it like this. Most people would rather go to the polls. You know, traditionally, for hundreds of years, we've all gotten up on election day when we took our ass down to the polls and stood in that long ass line and we voted. You know, I mean, you know, yeah, they've done different, you know, things within probably, you know, the past probably 50, 60 years or however long they've been having mail-in ballots. But for the most part, most of my lifetime, we all just went down to the polls. This year has affected that because you have a lot of people who are going to drop boxes, and there's a lot of stories of motherfuckers doing stupid shit like setting the fucking drop boxes on fire.
What the heck?
Yeah, I read a story about that shit on Facebook the other day. Like, it's crazy. Where they're having fake drop boxes where people will go and drop them off and they aren't even fucking real boxes. And the thing is, you don't even know who's doing this on either side, you know? I mean, it's a political game. I mean, if you ever seen that that TV show, what's that, House of Cards? Is that the name of the show? With Kevin Spacey, how, you know, corrupt the political system is. And, I mean, I believe that shit, you know? It's crazy because we sit here and, you know, we say our vote doesn't count. But, I mean, honestly, we're learning right now that our vote does count, because if it didn't, why the fuck would they be burning these boxes? Why would they go through such liberties to keep us from voting?
Also, vote for your representatives. They
Exactly.
matter way more.
Yes, your city councilmen, your congressmen, state senators, please. Also,
Have you guys seen the Joe Collins sign?
Yeah, I've been going at it with that dude on Facebook. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
No, it is hilarious.
Everywhere now.
Yeah, no, he's on our ass. I mean, he has an endorsement by Donald Trump, and so that's the kind of thing.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, so he's a Republican, and that's my whole thing. It's like, fuck, bro, you from the hood, but I looked at it like this, and
But
at first.
Hear what he said? He said
No,
real
and this is
stuff.
what. Let me finish, because I was going at him real tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was saying, how the fuck could you support Donald Trump, who refuses to denounce white supremacists? Which this last presidential debate, he kind of did some shit like that. So it's like, a lot of these motherfuckers say face this last debate. I'm not saying that it made a difference for me, but I'm just saying, like, he kind of finally said what people wanted to hear him say. Not really like that. It's kind of like, with kind of halfway ass apology, but it's like, we get what you're saying.
Well, at least he at least you know where he stands.
Yeah, so this is the thing.
Like the undercover ones.
Yeah.
You don't know where they stand.
Well, this is the thing with Joe Collins. I had to think about it. There wouldn't have been a way that he could have got in any other instance. He couldn't run under an independent party because, you know, there's no financial backing in there. You know. Also, too, of course, Donald Trump and these people are going to back him. He's trying to take out Maxine Waters.
Who is?
Joe Collins. That's who he's going against. It's Maxine Waters. And the thing is, it's like
Okay, but what has she done so she don't get put out?
That's true. That's the fucked up thing. Is like, he couldn't get in under the Democratic card because
But she's there.
yeah,
And
she's the
been
favorite.
there
Yeah, and they're
for
not.
a long
Yeah.
time.
And
Career politicians are
Exactly.
a big problem. We
Yes.
need term limits on every level, not just the president.
Yeah.
Which Trump said, I'm going to drain the swamp and do that. turns out, guess what? Politicians lie or make promises that they can't actually, follow through on. So guess what? No, sorry, all of them are still there.
Yeah.
Just like we don't have a wall, and Mexico definitely did not pay for it.
They sure didn't. They said you don't
Yeah,
pay for the wall, baby.
My opinion on epidemic affecting the election, it's just used as it's really sad that the epidemic's a political tool. Because, for some reason, it's now a debate of like, oh man, I'm a God-fearing American. I should be able to leave my house and not wear a mask, survival of the fittest. And I'm like, you're just stupid, aren't you? Like, my thing is, I can understand being annoyed wearing the mask. Trust me, I'm annoyed wearing the mask. I find myself, like, laxing on, like, where I'm wearing the mask and stuff. If I'm in someone's house and they're fine with you not wearing a mask and you trust them, go for it. But if someone's in your house and they want to wear the mask still, let them wear the mask. It's all just a personal choice. If you have a problem with people making decisions that are different than yours but not hurting you, sorry to tell you, but you're just an asshole. That's just it. There's nothing else on
Sometimes
that.
you have to be
So,
asshole.
if you are a no-masker, you're most likely voting for Trump. If you're the kind of person that's like, I still haven't left my house and I wear a mask when I go to the bathroom or to taking a piss, you're probably voting for Biden. That's the way it is for some reason, and I think it's stupid that you need to be told whether or not to wear a mask and you vote based on that. Just because someone agrees with you, hey, I don't think you should wear a mask either, doesn't mean you should vote for them. You just agree on one thing, that doesn't mean anything. But yeah, epidemic affecting the election, mail-in ballots, gerrymandering, and people having polling locations and like able to like break up districts and whatever.
Scroll up.
Fun fact, I'm going to recommend something for all of you out there. This is free promotion. There's a YouTube series or YouTube group of people. They take stuff from accredited lecturers and like college professors and stuff. It's called Extra History. Extra History. They actually are doing a lot of segments right now on political issues through history and topics about how to fix voting and what's going on politically with social media and how it's currently affecting the way that outcomes of elections can go, and how people are using fake accounts and stuff and multiple accounts to influence groupthink and like people thinking in like isolated bubbles. Just go check that out, Extra History. It's really good on these kinds of things. But mail-in ballot locations, fake ballot locations, or illegitimate ballot locations are a really big issue with mail-in. That can be used as a way to help legitimize potentially a Republican win, because it's a really, really deep issue to get into. But yeah. Will the epidemic affect the election? Yes, but at the bare minimum, it is just affecting how we go about the process of the election with mail-in and stuff like that. Will it actually determine who's the winner? Who's to say? But
yeah, that's crazy, because I really think that, honestly, me personally, I mean, this is just a conspiracy theory of mine, but I think whoever wins the election is whoever the fuck has something to do with the goddamn pandemic. Like, they were the masterminds behind it.
Oh, that's what
Do video games desensitize people to violence? I believe so.
we can talk about video games for a bit.
I think, yeah, video games and not just video games, entertainment today, period. Like, visual entertainment, I would say. And not even visual. Just the entertainment industry, period. Media. You know, where you look at it like this. Back in the day, they wouldn't have had shows like The Walking Dead on TV when we were kids. There's no way in hell that they would have had The Walking Dead on TV. Like, that much gore, you know, that much stuff going on, you know, that wouldn't have happened at all. You know, now that's a it's a regular TV show. Back in the day, there wouldn't have been movies like Saw. You know, where you had like Freddy Krueger and Jason, those kind of fucking movies were crazy. Like, you got movies like Hellraiser and Candyman, you know.
Well, you have stuff like 13 Ghosts, though.
What are you talking about?
that's
We
what I'm
had
saying.
bad stuff.
It's not about bad stuff. It's the level of what they had out, like
It was
to
worse.
the extent. No, it wasn't.
Yes, it
There was
was.
Shelly. There was no TV show.
Freddy Krueger.
Shelly, if you go back and look at that stuff, Freddy Krueger was not worse than the TV show The Walking Dead.
I'm talking about when we were kids. For us back then, that was bad.
Yeah, it was, but that stuff
Freddy
was.
Krueger.
But it wasn't
Jason,
mainstream.
Killing people on the toilet.
Think about it. It
Like,
was,
come on.
but Shelly wasn't.
Scream.
It wasn't mainstream. Like
Scream was real people killing people.
yes, but this is the thing.
Walking Dead, you know that's fake.
What
But
I
the
think,
level of gore, like even with video games, like you have.
What? It was more gore. If you go and watch something from back then
Shelly,
to
have
now.
you ever watched a whole season of The Walking Dead?
Yes, I have
Which
to
one?
catch back up though.
Which one?
I've got all the way to the tiger.
All right,
You
so
forgot we used to watch it.
yeah, so you can't sit here and
What
tell
you
me
talking
that
about?
exactly. So you can't tell me that we had stuff like that as a kid that where it
You
was
talking
that
about TV
descriptive,
shows?
that gory, like
Because
even.
movies for sure was that descriptive. Brains. Hello,
But that's what
Walking
I'm
Dead-
saying,
the,
but
the
that
Night of the
wasn't-
Living Dead, it was eating people's brains.
But this is the thing though, Shelly. We weren't even supposed to be watching that stuff. It wasn't as easy.
it's the same
accessible
thing
to
with
us.
Walking Dead though.
Yeah,
They
but
have a TV rating, and it's like it's the same thing with everything.
yeah.
If your child has access to your homemade porno tape on your freaking VCR, that's because you're bad at monitoring your kids,
Yeah.
and that's just talks about your
Yes.
parenting
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
Not like that was a big trope in like the.
Yeah,
like
in
what, like the 90s and
90s,
stuff. Like,
yeah.
oh man, the kids are watching porn on the VHS tapes, and I just had left out. And it's like,
You know, it was a big thing too, though, was the fucking magazines. Like that was
Yeah.
a big crazy
We know that
shit.
because you used to be looking at
But you know, yeah, of course. I
my
mean,
thing with Walking Dead and stuff is like, they put
Isn't it
more
bad?
stuff out there that's mature, like American Horror Story and Black Mirror and stuff. That stuff is disturbing. You actually watch it. Like Walking Dead to me, that's whatever. The violence is okay. Like it's not too much gore, but like back then they also had a huge amount of violence portrayed to children in cartoons. That's why in like the 90s they went through this reform where like even like Tom and Jerry and stuff and like Looney Tunes, they're just straight up shooting people, blowing
Yeah.
people up,
Exactly.
and like that
meat.
started getting pushed away.
They tried to eat. He tried to eat the
Yeah.
bird every episode.
All right, but
Kill
what
him in some
I have
type
to
of
say
way.
with the video games and sensitizing thing coming from someone who does a lot of like esports based things, it has been shown that games, when it comes down to like violence and stuff, if you are at the appropriate age, for these recommended games, there is not really anything bad about it. It has
Right.
actually been shown to be an outlet for violent tendencies. So if you are mad, for whatever reason, like even myself included, if I'm mad, I'll go play games to relax. If I want to be aggressive or something, I'll go play Dragon Ball Fighters and blow people up with spirit bombs or something. Or like go play COD, shoot at people, get pissed off, be like, how the fuck did they shoot me? I was around the corner. The fuck is this? All that stuff, that's actually healthy. Those are actually healthy outlets. Now, if you're projecting that out to other people, unhealthy. But if you're sitting at home going, yo, what the fuck? That's fine. Everyone can do that. Same thing with playing sports. You play sports, you miss a shot, you go, fuck. Same thing. So, do video games desensitize you to violence? No. I played GTA when I was like younger. You should not play GTA when you're younger. I wasn't allowed to play it really. My mom wouldn't let me play it, but I played it at my uncle's house a few times. I was like, wow, this is really violent. And I was like,
playing over there. Well, you weren't playing with us, but you was watching us play. The funniest shit. I didn't mean to cut you off, but the funniest shit I'll never forget when San Andreas first came out, and you were at the house with us, and you was getting mad because you were like, "Go pick up your homies, pick up your homies." It was like,
Oh, I
man,
remember that.
you wasn't there.
No.
No,
he,
I swear you were doing with that. No,
He
we were at
did.
Grandma's house. He was over at Grandma's house with us.
But he
Oh,
used
no,
to
no, no,
say
no, no.
that.
No. We were at Shelly's house and we were playing on Pierce game and Desi was
Yeah.
there with us, yeah. And you was getting mad like, no, go pick up
Yeah.
your homies.
You-
Pick up the homies.
I remember that because Jay would be like, "No, you forgot the homies. You gotta pick the homies up."
but so the thing is, when I was playing the game, even as a kid, I didn't see any of that and go like, oh man, this is okay. The way that it was kind of more so that I felt was like, oh well, it's a game, so the game, it doesn't matter. And I felt bad even when doing certain things in the game. Like, I would even do things like I would try to stop at stoplights, and like I felt bad for beating people up. And it's like that comes down to kind of personal nature. Like, if your child has violent tendencies,
oh, they gonna like all of that.
if you like your child's violent tendencies and you go and buy them GTA, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
If your child already exhibits violent tendencies, you should help avoid that by giving them things that are counter to it.
We know somebody like that.
And so that's the thing about it. Like, you need to pay attention to your child. I know it's a crazy concept, but you need to pay attention to your children, what they're consuming, and understanding how it's affecting them. If your child's playing Minecraft, just because Minecraft's a creative game and then it's doing all these things doesn't mean your child won't go to school, which I have personally experienced, and be like, hey, Jimmy, why did you hit Timmy in the head? You're like, I was mining him. I mean, the game's not inherently violent. You're building stuff with blocks, but I've definitely seen kids get Minecraft Steved on their head. So you should watch and see how your kids are reacting to these things. Like, I never played all these violent games in my life and ever was like, you know what? Because I played COD and I 360 no-scoped the guy today, I think I'm going to try that in real life, and I never went out and bought a Brett 50 cal. I'm like, all right, it's time.
Hey,
so
but
it's like
some people out there really mentally like go into the game mode like that.
Yeah, but people were killing and committing mass.
She was passing gas.
People were.
I was finna say,
People were killing.
Girl, I was finna say, are you serious?
People were killing people and committing mass murder before video games existed. Stalin didn't go like, well, I played Genocide Simulator, so I'm committing genocide. He didn't do that. Hitler wasn't like, well, I played Gassing the Jews, the video game, so I'm gonna go They didn't like the video game thing has been debunked by psychologists, by doctors. Like, even like apparently my brain being fried, like my mom and dad used to try to say. Or my eyes being ruined. I went to optometrist. It's like, games are hurting your eyesight. He's like, but it's not because the video games are shooting these rays into your head, melting your eyeballs.
It's the screen.
It's because you're looking at something close for long periods of time and you're becoming nearsighted.
Yeah.
He's like, but here's the thing, you can become nearsighted by reading too much.
Yes.
And people that are farsighted, like back in the day, people that used to keep score in baseball games, they would look at something far away, they'd become farsighted.
That's why Dad's nearsighted, because he used to sit a lot of times after spend a lot of hours producing. So he would sit there like up on something like a stool and sit at the computer for hours and months and
and it's like, oh, video games ruin your eyes. I'm like, well, then why is my eyesight still better than both of yours? If I played you guys never even played video games like that. It's like, you played Super Mario, when you were younger.
That's because they're the generation of the doubt.
Yeah, but it's just like,
because we're the generation of the undoubt, because so much stuff came out like during our generation that was for them only in movies. You know what I mean? So when it came out, everything has to be, oh my God, it's foreign. So what's going to happen to us? They're from that generation of, speculation and doubt.
I don't, what was the other thing that was put up for a second after the desensitized thing for video games? I kind of forgot what it was. It was like, oh, is media too much of a, watch me affect the way you think. Honestly, for a majority of you out there listening to this, despite who you are, despite how you think, who you think you are, if you are watching media a lot and you take anything you see on social media as remotely fact, you are currently being affected. You listening to me talking to you right now, you are being affected.
Right.
It is affecting the way you think. Watching media too much affect the way you think. It is literally the only way that most people think. Can it affect the way you think? It is controlling the way most people think.
And you know what proved that? Was Jerry Springer. When Jerry Springer came out, at first, people thought it was real. And they really tuned in and thought it was real. They get those people as actors. Even on Divorce Court, I'm not going to say the other ones because I'm airing y'all out, but they got actors. They're not real. I mean, some of them are real cases that might have happened, but they get actors to reenact it. And a lot of people, like, when I found out Divorce Court was not real, I was mad. Because I'm like, man, I need to go on this show. And then I found out it was fake. I said, ain't this about somebody? I can't even go on the show because it's not even real. So, yeah, like you said, it affects mine it affects your mind because people will be tuned into this and they really think it's real. But I think us living in California, those of you who don't come out of your area, you need to go outside of your area. But me and my brother, I would say we have been blessed, even Jay, to be around the industry, not just with music, but as far as film as well. It has taught me not to believe everything you see on TV. Plain and simple. Especially, and even this is to, people in the hood. You'll see something on TV and the news is showing one thing, and we in the hood and we didn't see that didn't happen like that.
Man.
Like, what the hell are they talking
Oh my
about?
God, man.
It's crazy. If you talk to certain people, like, I've seen things that have been shared to me by Republican friends, or I've seen things on Republican sites, and it's like Muslims are taking over France, they're attacking a police station, and I'm like, talking to someone that lives in France, because I talk to people from around the world, like in games that I play, and I'll talk to them like, hey, are your police stations being overrun by Muslims? They're like, no.
Right.
Like,
well, that's like when California has fires. Our family from Texas call and be like, "You by the fire? You okay?"
Like we
Like,
wait.
we all the way
Or no,
in the city.
the funniest shit was when people kept sharing on social media, oh yeah, they passed a pedophile bill and they let pedophilia be legal and now God's burning down California. I said, so what about the last 32 years of my life? I mean, every year there's always been a fire. It's like, this is the biggest fire ever.
They say that every time.
I mean, it was the biggest fire ever for that area, but I mean, as far as the state, I mean, I can remember it was fucking.
Been going on for centuries and centuries.
And the thing is, it wasn't even the fact of them, that's what of them even legalizing this shit. It was just that they changed up, as far as who gets what sentences, as far as what they do. The thing is, it was like, I guess it was very general the way that the laws were set, and it was one of those like, because I don't even know if it was pedophilia, but more for registered sex offenders or some shit like that. I think it was more along those lines. But the whole fact of people's like, oh, well, God's burning down California because of that. And I'm like, look, man, if you're here, you feel me? The shit happens every year.
Ask people that are on the ground if you have access to it. If not, ask
Yeah.
credible sources that are not backed by a political affiliation. Independent reporters, not so much a really big thing anymore that you see anywhere. Go look them up. If they're in a certain area, go look up independent reporters. They don't have ties to CNN or Fox News. They're doing it for what they like to do, what they love. They have a passion for it. Go look them up. They're the most honest ones normally. And then, on top of that, if you're the kind of person that's on social media and you see things that you know for a fact are like scholarly stuff, like a thing about a virus or a thing about a certain thing in history, and it's just a random Facebook post and you share it, you're part of the problem.
Embryo?
If you do not know yourself whether or not this statement is true, do not share it. You can look it up if you want. You have access to the entire world's database. You can go look stuff up. If you need help figuring out how to find out whether something's legit or not, look that up. They will literally show you how to find out whether or not things are legit.
What you talking about on fact check?
Well, fact checker's nice, but like you can go online and be like, oh man, I'm gonna look this up. And if you're like, I don't know what site to trust, go like, how can I determine a site is legitimate and I can trust it? You can literally look up the tutorials on YouTube to be like, this is an accredited source. This source is reliable because of these reasons. You can go look up how to do it. Stop being lazy. You have the access to the most knowledge that anyone in the entire planet has been able to ever get before the invention of the internet and the smartphone. You have easy access to it. You're just lazy. You just want to see something that makes you feel warm inside and you share it and act like it's true.
Yeah. That's real talk though. That's real spirit. I mean, we've covered a lot today. We covered a lot. We really did. We coming to an end. We still want to get on our entertainment, music stuff. We could sit here. Let's talk about some of the latest things it kind of can also have something to do with the media as far as where we look at the way we view these celebrities, these singers, these artists.
Oh God.
Me personally, because I get a lot of backlash for me and my opinion on different artists and music. And my thing is, I just like good music, I like to give a shout out to Masego, dope ass artist. Shout out to another artist, Buddy. These are real artists, these people are really doing their thing. Actually, I like Michael Trapson as well. Even though he's
Masego's getting bigger and bigger too.
Yeah. Because the whole thing is, man, people want to hear real music, and that's what also too what we're trying to do with this NeonFunk movement. You feel me? We're trying to continue this legacy of funk and move it on to the next generation and bring it to a whole nother wave. You feel me?
Hey, Molly Music is moving up there.
Oh yeah,
too.
shout out to Molly Music. Also shout out to Auntie Linnell, Sugar T. Also we can't forget our love, our heart, our family, Funkalicious. That's where we're from. The Funkalicious show it's kind of put on hold for right now, but we'll continue it at a later date. We like to thank everybody who tuned in. I'd like to thank my brother and my sis for coming through, chilling with me. I'd like to thank my boy Mike from TWZ Productions. Go check him out if you need any streaming needs or whatever. Give a shout out to our boy. I'd like to say shout out to the family that's here. Can't, really express in the words just how I feel. I'm gonna let Jay and Shelly talk to you guys real quick. I gotta run in the restroom real brief. I'll be right back.
They don't want to know that.
Yes, they do. They want to know everything. They want to know everything.
They don't want to know
All
that
right.
TMI.
Listen, 5G is melting all your brains out, and it's been planted by the reptilian elite because of the chemtrails that were enabling them to be able to, turn people into lizard people. Therefore, just like when electricity was introduced, and people were like, it'll kill you if you walk underneath the electrical lines. 5G is going to kill us all, so you don't need to worry about anything. Also,
you get cancer from them.
I'm not going to get into that.
I know this because I know people who live by the power lines for a very long
So do you think
time.
it was the power lines or maybe the fact that they put chemicals and it's factual in our food that cause cancer?
Probably all of it.
Being alive causes cancer.
Actually, you're dying every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And it's just one of those things. Being in the sun too long will give you cancer. Everything give you... Cancer is just your own body messing up. So like...
Well, it is mutating itself.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
trying to correct whatever is damaged.
Yeah, it's some of your cells messing up in their replication process, and then they start replicating all the messed up cells, and they just
try to fix the messed up cells, and your body
yeah.
just like.
So remember, folks, chemtrails, yes. Area 51 raid, Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. We're gonna do it
All day, every day.
And then chemtrails, reptilian elite, 5G. It's melting your brain. Wear your tinfoil hats. Drink the Kool-Aid. All right?
Look,
make sure you do all of that.
Illuminati gang.
If you see something on Facebook, especially, it's real. Believe it.
Look, especially if I post it. I'm dead serious. If I share it, believe all of it. All of it. Even if you don't want to. Believe it. Alright? Same way you believe that Joe Biden cares about you. And Donald Trump is also too that Donald Trump is fighting against the pedophile elite or whatever. Fuck.
Yeah, don't pay attention to the fact that there's been an undercover like child prostitution ring that's factually been there. No, your real enemy are the Democrats because they're coming for your guns, and the Republicans are coming for the gay people.
Antifa.
So make sure that
Antifa.
Antifa.
Yeah.
They're destroying small town America.
Yep.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and just know that there's actually black people. There's black people that are not black people. They're actually white people in super realistic black people costumes.
Yep.
So make sure you all drink the Kool-Aid, whether it's blue or red.
Also,
drink the Kool-Aid.
Remember crisis actors.
Yeah.
Remember they said George Floyd was at his own funeral.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Yeah, they said that too. Yeah, George Floyd was at his own funeral. They said the Sandy Hook thing never happened. They said that the cop that supposedly killed George Floyd was at Sandy Hook. He was at the Boston Marathon bombing.
He was at the Boston Marathon.
He was there when JFK got shot. He was there when Michael Jordan hit the game-winning jumper in '98. Also, too, he was a part of the Black Panthers.
Yeah. Make sure every photo you see is also believable, because a thing like Photoshop doesn't exist, so no one can ever change a photo, ever. Period. Every photo is real, 100%.
All day, every day, even tomorrow.
Never question anything. Don't
Never.
do it. Don't look it up for yourself. Let someone else do it for you.
No.
Right.
And
Let
remember
somebody else do it, and then
that
you
Black
believe
Lives
them.
Matter is a terrorist organization.
Yes.
Because black people are not organized.
And the KKK are actually really fine people.
Yeah, they are. They're a Christian organization.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a good Christian organization that watches interracial porn.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
Yeah,
How can they
do.
be racist if they watch interracial porn?
Yeah, exactly. How could they be racist if like the guy that they work with is black?
Exactly.
Or
My
they're
sister's
trans
cousin
black.
uncle is black.
Exactly. In fact, my ancestor, like from thousands of years ago, they came from Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like-
yeah, I'm not a racist. I wear I love the Confederate flag, but I just don't understand why they're kneeling for the American flag.
Yeah, exactly.
I support the
No.
Confederate flag, but I'm mad at somebody with an afro kneeling the American flag because it's disrespectful.
But they didn't like the American flag, and now they all gone home about that.
But that's what I'm saying. They rock Confederate flags, but they get mad. At
Listen, where's the
somebody.
Kool-Aid?
Yeah, man, hold on. I got the cognac.
Yeah, Cavassier. I got the Cavassier.
Yeah, no.
All right, well, like we about to do all at this time, baby. We're about to be up out of here. Like to thank you all. We got some music we're about to get down to. Could somebody hit the lights real brief so I can the lights in the kitchen. The original stove light. Info. Can you hit the lights for us, please? Can you hit the lights for us? Now, we're gonna end up with this song. We want everybody to get along and listen. Now check this out. We almost there, baby. Yeah. I said the domino effect got me feeling like, yes, change it up quick. This your boy, yours truly. We about to be out of here, Hey! Let's be friends, we should be friends. I don't wanna fake it, I don't wanna pretend. We should be friends, let's be friends. Alright, everybody. We'll catch you next week. We out of here.